Yo, people always ask me what kind of frames I'm rocking. I've been rocking Caddis for a couple years. They make amazing progressive readers, which I wear. Also, they make sunglass readers, anti-glare, anti-smudge coating, anti-scratch, and anti-aging. That's why I look mad young when I wear them. I'm just kidding. But they make amazing frames. Caddis, so stoked to have you guys part of the podcast. You can go to caddislife.com/Toby10 and get $10 off your first purchase. Stoked. Thank you, Caddis. Welcome to the fam. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. They have now blessed me with my own code. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst, stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives.
I thought that was the whole point. It's just genius.
It does look like that.
People just want to walk around, and this looks like a beer.
Yeah, I had some friends get pulled over. My mother-in-law, I'm recording now before we get into it. My mother-in-law was walking with a Liquid Death to the grocery store, and they said, "Excuse me, would you like a bag for that?" And she's like, "For what?" And then she looked at the can. She goes, "No, this is water." They go, "Oh my God, I thought it was beer. I thought Grandma was drinking a beer at the store." All right, fuck. Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have a very, very special guest. I haven't seen this guy since we toured them many, many years ago.
Long time.
And he came up today from San Diego. I really appreciate being here. Mr. Sonny from P.O.D, man. Thank you so much for being here, man.
Dude, thanks for having me in your home.
This has been a long time coming, bro.
It has.
We've been talking about this before the pandemic, through the pandemic, and then I guess I haven't seen you since we toured Hazen Street. Fuck, that was like 2004 or 5.
Bro, it's been forever, yeah.
Wow.
I think I know more of you just from watching all your socials.
Yeah, I'm saying that's how we know how everybody's doing, though.
Yeah.
That's how you catch up with somebody now, which is actually kind of cool. You know what I mean? You can see how people's lives are going.
It's cool and kind of sad. Nobody wants to meet in person anymore.
I know, but it definitely for something that has a real negative tone to it, and it could be like a lot of like sketchy things on there. I think it really connected people during the pandemic worldwide, as far as I could see, like with everything happening with the protests, just everything. They saw how everything was going on in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that was a positive thing.
No, most definitely. I'm not like socially hip as most people, and I probably if I wasn't in a band, I probably wouldn't even be on it. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, just because it's so consuming. But
it is.
I think the most positive thing, even since before with MySpace and all that stuff, Facebook, is that some little kid in the middle of Africa can be like, "Dude, I love your band." You're like, "What?"
Man. And they can DM you, and then you might write back to them.
No, I always do.
Too.
People, they'll your band rocks, and they'll get a thumb up emoji or whatever. But when it's like, dude, this song changed my life. I'm like, dude, that's so And then I've struggled with this, and that's when it's like, that's where my heart is like, dude, you got this, and you can really encourage people that way, and it only takes 2 seconds of your
day. And some of that stuff's tricky too. I talked about this before. Is that sometimes you get really serious ones, like really heartfelt situations where you're like, fuck, man, I just wrote that song. I'm not a doctor or psychologist, but I got to respond to this. I can't leave them unread. Yeah. And there was one time we did respond to somebody, and I kind of literally walked this person off a ledge and got them help and got them connected to like a Facebook group of people that were going through the same thing. I spent my whole day emotionally drained hanging out with my friends. We were hiking. I was going through my whole day, but kept talking to this person. And the next day they hit me up in the morning saying, they joined a group and they thank you so much. I was just started bawling, but it's because I gave my time to that person. It's heavy, bro. But it's our responsibility.
It is. You can't just ghost them like that's. You can hear your band rocks a billion times, and to me, I'm not an ego guy. I don't need that. Yeah. But when it's someone like, dude, same thing. I was going to kill myself, or I'm struggling with this or that, or even if it's just a question about life, you have to give them something. But it's that to me, that's the most positive thing out of that.
Yeah, especially when you have an account, it's not private, your DMs aren't blocked. You're going to get messages, so it's like it's kind of our duty in a sense. And I love connecting with people if that's the best way to connect, or the only way to connect right now, and just having those conversations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy because I know that a lot of bands have done that for me growing up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Their lyrics or their songs saved me.
Yeah. Well, in a sense. Even if it's just even the fact that they just. Because in their minds, they're not like, oh, we're these blue-collar hustling musicians. They think we're we're the it to them, right?
Yeah.
Which is, we're the regular dudes.
We're regular dudes,
but
bro.
but the fact that you say, hey man, well dude, love you too, man, and just keep moving forward or stay positive, to them that's larger than life,
Yeah.
And so that is a, again, not because we're anybody, but we do have, I still think that there's responsibility with that.
Yeah.
To be positive and to kind of maybe push them in a certain direction that, to get that help or just encouragement, man. That's it.
Music's so powerful, man. It's just
more powerful than we know.
It's so powerful. Like when everything got shut down before we were allowed to play music, we were I felt like we were the last people on the totem pole of like what was allowed to happen with everything shutting down. You know what I'm saying? Like music was at the very bottom. Thinking, damn, music is the biggest healing thing, though. It's like it's so powerful.
Yeah, we're so not essential.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yet it was the music went up, like people were listening to, and most people didn't even want to hear new stuff. It was always just old stuff, like diving back into the crates of like old stuff that just made them feel something, like when I was a kid or memories, nostalgia, whatever. But to me, it was like music was we had time on our hands to actually listen again.
Yeah.
It was the most essential for me. One of the most essential
things.
We
think it's essential because that's what we do and that's what we make.
Maybe I'm biased.
No, but that's also what gets me through everything is music.
Yeah.
Growing up my whole life, going to shows and writing music and listening, going to see concerts.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people feel the same way. It was when that got taken away, like you couldn't escape. Because that's like about escaping reality and in the world, all the shit going on. Let's go to a show. Let's just sweat it out, sing along to our favorite band. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Those feelings. Even now, I'm into, I was never really a big vinyl guy, but most vinyls I have are all like old reggae albums and stuff. But even my kids are getting into it, and my wife. And so even the other night, we literally just put on these old vinyls and we just danced.
What's old? Like what old?
I mean, not old, but my wife. It's funny. We're kind of the complete opposite. She's more like old classic rock kind of lady. Fleetwood Mac. You know what I mean? The Eagles. And we threw on Fleetwood Mac. But I was going through a lot of my reggae stuff that I hadn't heard when I was a kid, and even as we were listening to it, my wife was like, "What? I know all these lyrics because this is what I was playing in my little car, my truck."
Yeah.
And it just reminds me. My wife and I are high school sweethearts. So she's like, "Dude, I remember going here, I remember going there, doing this, and these songs still last." She's like, "I don't know where these lyrics come from. I don't even know why I know these lyrics because I haven't heard this song in 20 years." But we're singing every single
beautiful
word.
Man. Yeah, we both got married in '96.
Yeah.
So I've been married since '96 too as well. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Damn,
man.
high school sweethearts. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So you were dating in what grades? You started at a senior or earlier than that?
I think I was 17 and she was 15.
Wow.
And she went
like
to a
your
different
first
school.
Real love?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
My first real girlfriend. Actually, she was my only girlfriend. I
hung
out with girls before it, but it was I was too young.
That's amazing.
This makes seem weird. Like I didn't want to kick. I was with the homies. Like we surfed, we skated, we did our thing and we had fun. So it wasn't like I'm not gonna be. I don't need that. I don't need that.
Yeah.
But then once my wife now at the time, it was new for me. So it was just us. And then we've been together ever since.
That's real love. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful, man.
Same to you, brother.
Yeah. I wasn't a player. I wasn't going after girls. I cared about skateboarding. That's all I cared about. Trying to be a pro skater.
Yeah.
And people made fun of me because I didn't have a girlfriend, but I had a skateboard. And and I only been with a couple girls my whole life. But my wife's we're very lucky, especially to do what we do too, because you have that foundation at home. Also, you have to provide for them as well. But you have that balance of like being a big kid with no responsibilities, going out there with your brothers and doing what you love. Yeah. And then your wife's holding it down at home for you, and that balance.
Dude, I couldn't do any of this stuff. She's, my kids, everything. And my wife was with me before music, so we see through all the nonsense. We see through the phoniness. Yeah. And the music's real to us, but we see through all the industry stuff. And she's been holding it down forever, but
it's amazing. Dude.
You just said perfect. Like I wasn't that way either, man. I wasn't like a player. I wasn't. You realize once you get older, even just being kind of a mama's boy, and you just have a certain respect for women, and then you're, I believe in love, and so I wanted love instead of just lust. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like just a normal dude that I would see my friends, kind of everybody doing their thing. And whether it was anything, whether it was sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever, it was just like, I know that that's just what the world offers. And I just never really, I never dove into any of that stuff, Yeah,
you brought up just clicked something in my head because people that are listening that know that I'm straight edge. Yeah. And people always they ask you, what kind of straight edge are you, this and that. But what you just said, is pretty much, I think, what Ian MacKay was talking about with Minor Threat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't fuck, at least I can fucking think. And that means that just going out and having sex with girls and not having a relationship and not having that love and that connection.
Yeah.
Like you said, not lust, but love. So for the kids listening, if you always wondered about that, I never even talked about it on the podcast before.
Yeah.
But you just said it. It's like, I wasn't like that either. Like, I wanted to have a girlfriend. I wanted to be in love. I'm going to get married and have kids. Like, I had this whole dream of that. You know?
I wanted it to be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew I can go and sleep around. I knew I can go get high. You know, I could do all these things. But it wasn't something that I never did it because I thought it was cool, or I thought, this is something I got to do. I wanted it to be real. So even just being with my wife, I mean, even since you said it, I don't even think I've said this ever. Like, I've never been with anybody else but my wife.
Yeah, I've only slept with 5 women my whole life.
Yeah. Not me.
I know. That's amazing, bro.
I mean, I'm not even saying that. I mean, I'm being vulnerable here. You know
that's
what I'm saying?
Amazing.
That's just
dude.
like because I've been with her all my life.
I think it's beautiful, dude.
Thanks, bro.
I got a couple of friends like that as well. But that's like real, especially like to come from high school before you even had a band, before the band blew up, all the success, all that. She's a real one, bro. Like,
she's a real
to all that. You know what I mean? My wife too. Before the band, all that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because my wife and I were friends and roommates, and then she had a boyfriend. And my wife came to the first H2O show with her boyfriend at the time, to see us play. And we had a weird thing before that, kind of like flirty friends, and then. It's an amazing story as well. But like, she was at my first show. Like, it was like an $85 cab ride to Queens. Thanks, Moon.
Oh,
She came out with her ex-boyfriend. Sorry, dude. And it's just, that's amazing, bro. That's that says a lot about you too, and your relationship and everything. You know.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
To be traveling and touring, because once you go on tour, it's such a different world. And plus, when you have success like you had and being all over the place, it's just like.
Yeah,
but they keep you humble. They hold you down, keep you in check.
And then and then I had 2 girls right off the bat, and then my son third. So I'm a girl daddy, you know what I mean? It's that same thing. And again, being a mama's boy, grew up, single mother, same thing. It's like, it's just a different level of respect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But dude, if anything, most girls scare me. Like, I just kind of keep my head down, like, because I know that there's girls and people that want to party on the road. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Let me not put myself in a certain situation that I might not be able to get out of,
So how was it growing up? How do I say it? Otay Mesa?
Otay Mesa.
Otay Mesa. Otay?
Oh, yeah. That's how Siri says it.
So that's a part of San Diego.
It's a part of San Diego.
And that's what they call Southtown?
Nah, to me, Southtown is like, there's a junction of freeways. It's a certain... kind of from downtown and south to the border. Okay. To me, I would even extend it to downtown.
Yeah.
But I don't even think, bro. I was just talking about this the other day. I don't even think, even as a kid, we never called it Southtown. It was just, we called it South Side, South Bay.
Okay.
But I think when we wrote the song, it was catchy to me. You know.
Yeah, it is, dude.
And it was just Southtown was just it kind of was just. It was a place.
Yeah.
So, and now when I hear everybody talking about it and claiming Southtown and stuff,
wow.
I'm like, well,
like,
this is crazy. I named
that place.
In a way, I'm like, I think I did. I don't know. Because it's not like we walked around and said, yeah, we're from Southtown. It was just like, everyone was like, South Bay. There was East Side, North Side, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. And so do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have two sisters, but they were about 10 and 12 years younger than me. So different dad.
Oh, different dad.
Yeah.
So how was it growing up for you out there?
I mean, my mother was young. They came from Italy, so immigrant family come over. My dad at the time, I don't even remember being in a household with my mom and dad. They were super young, but they were they were partying. You know what I mean? They were kids. And we lived in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So in the hood, there's a lot of there's drugs, and at that time. There's the hippie movement going on. Yeah. So, it's all kinds of stuff. But as we grew up in a young family. But, my dad would sell, my uncle would sell, my mom. I think my mom was known as the snow queen in like the South Bay area just because. And she just sold to like her friends, and stuff like that. So we kind of grew up around that.
It was around you, yeah.
Parties, yeah. Cops coming in.
Did that scare you and not want to participate in that kind of shit or?
Maybe subconsciously,
because
I've never done, aside from smoking herb and drinking beer, like I've never
done that stuff. Yeah,
no, I'm not a chemical dude. I don't even like taking vitamins. You know what I mean? Yeah. and again, I'm not sitting on a pedestal because I just never really had that, desire. And so, but growing up, we've seen, there's from cops coming to the house to people stealing stuff and are, coming in and raiding the house.
Wow.
So. there was a certain time when, you know, they kind of grew up, and then, you know, long story, but my
was your mom super young?
Yeah, my mom was 17 when she had me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, they were still just kids.
Yeah.
So to have,
Figuring
you know, little toddlers around, you know, even not even probably old enough to drink, or probably not even 20, just stupid stuff, you know. But I remember just they would have parties, and my cousin and I would be the young teenagers watching us next door. You know what I mean? Just like while they all partied and stuff. And so you get around that, but you know, once they kind of grew up a little bit, and that's when my family kind of came to their faith. And again, I really didn't know much about God, but I just knew that it was different now. Yeah. They weren't doing drugs. They weren't selling drugs. Cops weren't coming in. It wasn't that scary kind of atmosphere. And it was new. So it always captured my attention. Like, okay, maybe this God thing is, maybe it's a good thing, you know?
Yeah. Because my house is chill now.
Yeah. And that's only because of what I experienced, not because of what I was indoctrinated with or told. It was just like,
oh, it was when your mom got diagnosed with leukemia. That's what kind of set it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, one by one in my family, they started to clean up their act, you know what I mean? And they started going to church and stuff like that. And, so when she was diagnosed with leukemia, you know, that's kind of where I saw her really live out her faith and just be this positive person. I was like, well, you're most, you know, the chances of you living is, you know, it's very slim. Yeah. Yet you're this faith you have is beautiful, you know? Yeah. I mean, and as a young kid, I'm like, what the hell's going on? You know, I'm ready to rage. And I was raging with my friends too. You know? I mean, we were going out, getting into trouble, you know, partying and stuff. And in the back of my mind, it was just like, you know, I might lose my mom. But so it was really when she went into remission and then, you know, went back to the hospital, that it just kind of, I grew up and I was just kind of said my first big boy prayer, and I was like, God, if you're real, if my mom goes, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lose it, you know. I might hurt myself or someone else. And but I remember making a deal with God in the parking lot of the hospital. My mom was pretty much out of it, and couldn't speak. You know, her body was just pretty much, you know, in a comatose. Yeah. And so I just remember telling God, like, I'll get my stuff together. I said, but I remember telling God, I don't want like a Americanized, westernized, blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus. I don't want a TBN. I don't want this crusader, you know, kill for Jesus type of, you know, or even this white power, whatever. That, you know, this confusion of what Christianity is. Yeah. So I was like, but if you can show me my mom's Jesus, then I'll ride for a little bit. Wow. And that was it. I say that to this day. I'm like, dude, I don't back this religion, that religion. I'm like, dude, I have a personal relationship and a faith with God that is real to me, and it's undeniable. So if you want to talk about it, cool. But if you want me to be a poster child for your religion or something, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Because even in all that, I'm still a dude. I'm still a man. You know, I don't claim to be perfect. I don't claim to know it all, have it all figured out. Yeah. I'm just trying to make it through in one piece.
Yeah. And how old were you when that happened?
I was 19. My mom she got sick when she was 18, but in 19, and she was only 37, which was crazy. Yeah, but I watched her, and that was when it kind of just started my journey of like, all right, maybe I should stop smoking weed. Maybe I should, but I always worked, so I was always working, so I was still responsible, you know.
And were you good in school too?
I was good in school for the only reason of I didn't want to walk around with D's and F's on my, like, to me that was embarrassing. Okay. Most of my friends were like, but I also, I did the bare minimum, but I still rocked B's and C's and A's a couple times, but I didn't like.
But you weren't hard. Your mom wasn't strict about it or nothing?
No, you know, when you come from like working, I mean, they're like, you know, do your best. You know what I mean? Now I'm different. With my kids, I'm like, my wife and I are like, let me see your stuff, do your homework, all this stuff. Our family, they worked, you know. Yeah. College was never a thing. It was like our parents didn't go to college. It was like, you work and you're gonna graduate and you're gonna work some more. That's it. Yeah. So you know, we did our best, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, that's just not our circle of life. It was like, oh, we didn't have those opportunities. I couldn't go to college if I wanted to. Like, who's gonna pay for it? Yeah, you know what I mean? True. Wow. So now for my kids, it's different. Where I'm like, look, you know, I'm blessed enough, you know, my wife and I, to be able to put our kids through college. I mean, we're still hustling to do it, but I at least want to give them the opportunity to have a chance. Like whatever you decide, if you want to be a musician, if you want to be an artist, do whatever. But just give yourself all the tools possible to have a better life, man. We're not. Yeah. I don't want my kids growing up the way we did, you know.
Yeah, 100%. So in school, you had no dreams of starting a band in school?
No, man. Wow. I listened to, you know, I was mostly my family were more rock and roll.
Yeah.
So I knew the, you know, the Led Zeppelins, the AC/DCs, all that stuff. But I was more, you know, when you get to that age, I was more into to hip hop and reggae music because it was very conscious. It was very street.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously New York hip hop. You know, it's like,
of course,
you'd listen to what they were saying. I was like, this is to me, this was real. It wasn't sex, drugs, rock and roll talking about nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, this is real struggles. But then it wasn't until I think it was, I want to say 8th grade, maybe my 8th to 9th grade. Sal Lopez, he showed my friends and I. He's a old friend of ours. I still remember his name, Sal Lopez. He showed us a Bad Brains.
Oh.
And he knew that I liked reggae music, so he said, "This is a punk band." I was like, not really. I liked Suicidal Tendencies because they were of color. Because, you know, I knew they're Mexican. I knew they were from the streets, and I was like, that caught my interest. But to me, punk back then was like Sex Pistols from England. I'm like, I don't identify with that. Can't relate.
I hear you on that.
But once they showed me these cats, I remember. I want to say it was either Eye Against Eye or like the Quickness record, and I was like, if these 4 brothers with dreads, these Rasta cats, if they know something about this thing called punk rock, what am I missing? What do I need to know? What do they know that I don't know?
I love that.
And the moment I listened to it, I was like, holy crap.
Those are my 2 favorite records, by the way, Quickness and I Against Eye.
Quickness is one of those.
Bro.
And I dove in, but I remember listening, like, you know, my stepdad, I think he introduced me to like Suicidal, and then I remember like Fear. There was like certain bands, remember, and
classics.
Yeah, classic stuff. And then, but it wasn't until I discovered the Bad Brains that it was like, okay, there's something here. And that's when then I heard Minor Threat, I heard Fugazi, I heard all this 7 Seconds, all these certain things, all these bands that I was like, it just opened up a whole new world.
A whole new world, dude.
A whole new world that I haven't been completely. It's just so much, you know. Yeah. It's so much, dude.
There's a lot to digest.
But that was a big, huge step for me.
The Bad Brains, so that's a door opener for you.
Yeah, that was my door opener.
The reggae and punk and the breakdowns and all that, yeah.
Oh yeah, because it was all in there, and that's why I think. But anyway, so
were you going to shows too at that time, or seeing concerts or anything?
I started to go to shows. At first, it was just like you would go to these shows, and then my friends and I would just like to pit. It's like that was a whole new world, like, and it wasn't even like the right way. It was, you know, it was like, oh, dude, we're going out here there's going to be fights. Yeah. It was just, you know, we're going to let out some aggression. Yeah. It wasn't until you get, oh, no, okay, this is more of a dance. It's more like, it's peaceful, you know what I mean? And then but I liked that all these bands were about something, and it wasn't, they were able to be themselves. They weren't, whether you liked it or not, there's just a respect there. And the bands gave the same respect. It's like, you know, I might not agree with you, but dude, we're in this music thing, and you have the right to say what you want to say. And I love that about hardcore and punk and stuff. Straightforward, yeah. Yeah. The conversation, you know.
Yeah. Do you remember your first like legit punk show, like a band?
Oh, dude.
Were you going to rock shows too, and metal shows and everything?
No, I wasn't really I'm not a real metal guy. Like I was never really. I don't think I've ever been to metal shows, to be honest, except the shows that we played, you know.
Yeah.
Back then, it was mostly. There's a place called Soma's. You guys, you know Soma's. Yeah. So we would just go, and there would be bands that would come through all the time. And then I would go with friends. We're like, oh, dude, check out this band. We're all like the Descendants, or you come through. Who else? There was all kinds. There's so many bands, but we were just going because it was, to me, anyways. And my friends that are from the hood, this was not their music. Yeah, it was new, so we were just like, whoever would play, we just wanted to go and get in the pit and have fun. And
were you skating too?
Yeah,
skateboarding,
skating, and then we're literally about 15 minutes from the beach. So, you know, that was one thing that set me and my friends apart, where we kind of grew up in the hood, surrounded by gangs, but we were enough of friends that we were kind of like our own gang. Now, we didn't claim anything. It was just we felt safe enough, you know. But there was just something about, you know, us and our crew that was like, dude, we hitchhike or catch the bus to the beach and then go surfing all day. And it was different. You know, if anybody that surfed before, once you catch that feeling, it's like skating.
Yeah, man.
There's something to it, you know, and I think I think for us in our mindset too was like there was something in us that said, I don't want to get caught up in these streets, you know?
Yeah. I mean, surfing, I started trying that like a year ago. My son surfs every day.
That's
because I've been skating my whole life, but just getting up on your first wave and just people talk about this like spiritual connection to the ocean.
For sure.
It's real because I felt it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I kept trying to get back up and just being in the water, just being on the ocean, especially during the pandemic when it really hit. Me and my son was still going to the ocean. I don't know. I never appreciated the ocean to this pandemic. Now I love it. You know?
Like, dude.
Especially living here this long. But
Yeah,
surfing, dude.
I'm a beach guy. I mean, I got Hawaiian blood. I have, Guamanian blood. So I'm a island guy in heart. I hate the cold. I love being in the sunshine. It was one of those things that I said, oh, dude, I'll surf till I die. And then, you grow older and you just sometimes. So even now, whenever opportunity I get with my son, if we get to go to the beach or do whatever, but
he surfs too.
He's tried a few times.
Cool,
he skates right now. Skating's his thing. I'm playing the drums. But
awesome.
Yeah.
He looks just like you. It's crazy, man.
Oh, he's rad, dude. I think he's gonna pass me up. He's literally probably like 2 inches shorter than me. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. My daughter, my middle daughter, she's already passed me up.
Dang.
It's crazy.
So they skate. Yeah. They play music too.
Yeah. My
he's drums, right?
He's playing drums. Yeah. He's jamming with some friends every Friday. They'll go and jam and do like covers and stuff. So
that's cool.
He's actually picking it up, But now, now he's kind of more interested. Maybe doing vocals and stuff like that, and
it's cool, man.
And he listens to all the stuff we listen to. So when he hangs out with his friends, he's the one that shows him, dude, well, listen to this Bad Brains, this is Rage Against the Machine, listen to this, and he's
It's awesome, man.
Yeah,
and he probably his own music you found too, like turning you on to stuff. Probably.
Yeah, it's the same
all
thing.
that new rap too. My son listens to all the mumble rap and the different styles, Travis Scott. I check it out.
I try to, but I think I'm that old guy now that's just like, well, back in my day, this was real rap,
It's so funny becoming parents. I know, man.
Yeah. I don't want to discredit my kids' taste, but I'm like, I don't get it. And then there's stuff that I hear, I'm like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
But then there's stuff that I'm like, I don't get
it. So you graduated from high school.
Yeah.
And then you're just working
all the time.
No music. What kind of job? What was your job?
When I was 15, during the summer, I was like a tile setter helper because my stepdad and them, that's what they did. But as soon as I was 16, I got my license on my 16th birthday. I went to the grocery store and got a bagging job. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So by my 12th grade, by my senior year, I was literally I was still working 40 hours a week, getting off at school at 12, being at work by 1. So it's just what I knew I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
But you had asked me before about being in a band. Like it was never. I'm not that guy. I'm not like. I'm not the front guy. I'm kind of guy in the back that's just, make sure we get the stuff done.
Yeah.
But it was when my mom passed away, and I was kind of trying to figure out, who I'm supposed to be or who I'm gonna be, whatever. And but it was Marcos and my cousin. They were in a band, and we used to go watch them play.
Yeah.
But they used to play with all these like skinhead bands and white power bands. Like I mean, not that they totally opposite, but but they were. But whoever you played with is who you played with.
Yeah.
So we would go with all our friends, and all our friends were like, they're all color.
What were they called? What were they called?
Who's that? Well, they were called like Escatosh or I don't know, but they were more like more like thrash.
Okay.
You know what I mean? 3-piece thrash, and we would go just so that all my friends just wanted to pit and make sure that. There was no trouble, But once they asked me, because they wanted to do something different, they were like, they knew that I was into reggae and hip hop, and they wanted to try something different. But
and you were rhyming too, right?
Yeah, I would goof around with my buddies.
It's cool,
but nothing. I'm not an attention guy. I'm not.
You weren't battling and stuff.
No, I'm not like. But even like. If a camera comes around, dude, I'm not. What's up? Like that's why I hate. Like, you'll never see. Like I probably have like 5 selfies on all my 10,000 posts.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy,
Yeah.
And so I was never really that way. So even when my cousin, I found out this later. Even when he told Marcos, "Hey, what do you think about Sonny, singing in our band?" And Marcos was like, dude, Sonny never even talks. Like what? To him it was a shock,
Yeah.
And when they asked me too, I kind of laughed it off. I was just like, yeah, right. But I think my cousin was just trying to keep me out of trouble and keep me on the path. But then some things had happened where I just thought like, maybe this is what it's supposed to be. And then because of the hardcore bands and stuff, I was like, hey, look, I'm discovering my faith. Why can't I do what they're doing? Why can't I say what I'm learning or what I'm feeling?
Yeah.
Not in a a preachy or condemning way or a self-righteous way. It was just like, why can't I say what I'm learning? I'm just learning.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of made me want to do it. It was like, dude, at least my friends will listen. At least the neighborhood will listen.
Yeah.
Not ever thinking we'd leave San Diego, you know?
Yeah.
And then
you remember your first band rehearsal with him and singing for the first time?
Yeah, dude. And then the first time was actually at Soma's in the dungeon.
Wow.
I don't know if you remember back in the day, there was the one certain Soma's. You played the dungeon, and that was downstairs and upstairs. Yeah, but you had to have 100 people say your name, and then Lynn, if you had 100 people say your name, that they came to see you, because you would get $1 from the ticket price, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you got 100 people to say your name, he would put you on one of the big acts upstairs. That came.
Yeah.
And so we went, and it's funny because our first show, we had 100 people there just because our homies alone.
Yeah.
and our family, you know?
Yeah.
But I remember, dude, I had my back turned towards the crowd. I think at one point, I don't remember this, but the guy said I actually had my lyric sheet like there reading off of it, you know?
Yeah.
And my cousin playing the drum, you know, telling me, turn around. You know, and I'm like, I don't know what I was scared about because it was all my friends, but it was something that was so new, and I was like, and I'm by nature a shy person, so it was a trip to me. So it's something that I learned to do that, you know, that's why I never feel like I'm entertaining anybody. I feel like it's something that I was able to embrace and became a part of me to be that, you know. Mm-hmm. I get to jump around and express like my soul, you know.
Man.
So
it's beautiful. Yeah.
That's what music is for me. So
yeah. So P.O.D. is your first band
ever, yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
The same girl, only one girl, so like, and then only one band, and it's P.O.D. Bro, that doesn't happen to a lot of people, man.
I'm faithful and loyal,
wow,
bro.
Man, that's incredible.
I never even thought of that until you said that right now.
Only one band and one girl. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So the band was called Payable
on Death.
That was the first original name. That's
yeah. Once we were there, my cousin's girl at the time, she worked at a bank, and it was a term, you know, payable on death, and it had to do with when someone passes, what they leave behind. And at the time, we were all discovering our faith, and you know, it was never a Christian thing. It was just like, dude, this is who we are, right? And so we wanted the name to be tough. I think they had a single name at the time. They were like the Slayers, Metallica's, Ministry, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, they wanted to do something that was maybe three words, you know?
Yeah.
So it was just stupid reasons, but Payable on Death it had a meaning and it sounded tough. And but we got sick of saying it, so it just became P.O.D. That was it.
Wow, man. So that band, so you play your first show there.
Yeah.
And it's all your homies. And then you start playing more shows, just the word starts spreading.
This was 92.
Backyard parties, maybe?
Oh, backyard parties. After I think that was the first time. Yeah, it was the first time we played, which was huge for us. But ever since then we got to play backyard parties and do all this stuff. But because we had 100 people, Lynn from Soma's, I think Green Day was coming in. And we didn't even know who Green Day was at the time. That's awesome. Right? And they weren't signed or nothing. Mm-hmm. So I think at that show, they might even got signed. So they were still on like independent stuff. I think it was like Punk or whatever. And
Lookout Records maybe.
Lookout Records, yeah. And we were there, and then we saw them. We're like, dude, these guys are sick. Mm-hmm. I remember but he put us on the opening slot for. Sick. So to us, we were, and then that's when Green Day got signed and did all this stuff. That was our claim to fame. Like, dude, we played with Green Day.
Wow.
Like these guys they blew up, you know?
Yeah,
it was crazy.
What year would that? What date would that have been?
That was 90. That was 92 going into 93.
Okay.
We never met because they were kind of. It was funny. Like, I think our shirts might have been like, whatever, $2 more than theirs or something. And they were like, our shirts are the one for only $10 or something like that, like clowning everybody.
And now we know later on you're not supposed to oversell the headliner. You have to have the same price as them. Kids listening, you can't, if you're on tour with a band and their shirts are 20, your shirt's got to be 20.
Exactly. You have
but back then, I mean, you didn't know. But yeah, that's the thing in bands. You can't over.
Yeah. And I don't even know what they were. I think they were just trying to
Green
clown.
Day shirts were cheaper than you guys.
I don't even think they were, bro. I think they just were looking for something to clown all the bands that were opening for them. You know, it was the punk rock thing to do,
and
I guess.
Soon after that, they blew up. Wow, man.
Yeah, they got their deal, and then
it was before Dookie.
That was right when Dookie came out, and it was a couple years, the next year. But that was while we remember, like, dude, we played with Green Day. They're huge now. And then
so you guys aren't signed. You just got on the shows. Your local band, pretty much.
Yeah. We just played local. And then Lynn would put us on with whoever. And because we were different, like he put us on with Cypress Hill. Like we started playing with groups like that. It wasn't always just this metal or rock thing.
Yeah, I love that.
I remember Blink when they first started. We played with Blink. We played with like Unwritten Laws, Blind Monkey, Bucko 9,
So
ska bands.
You were the band at Soma always. You were getting the cool, awesome gigs.
Yeah, I mean,
because you could draw people too.
We started to draw, and then we were able to, he put us on as openers, and then pretty soon we were able to.
You headlined that big room. You remember that first time?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you
could probably do several nights there back then.
I don't know if once we signed, but we went like 7-8 years independent, and then and then it wasn't until we signed that it was like, okay, now we're headlining shows, on our own.
Yeah.
Because once people get to know your stuff, I mean, we never thought we were headliners, because when we would tour on our own, even independently, it wasn't like we were playing these big old rooms. Yeah. We were playing. It was still those hardcore kids. Yeah. They're promoting their stuff in abandoned buildings in friggin' New Orleans, somebody's house.
So it was DIY spots.
Yeah, it was strictly like that. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, we're on a headlining tour. Yeah. It wasn't until we released a record and then people actually wanted to put us in real clubs. Like when we did it on our own, we didn't play like real clubs. We played wherever. Yeah.
So what was the first label? Because the first record was it's called Snuff the Punk.
That was all independent stuff.
That's 94.
Yeah, Brown. We did independent stuff. Yeah. We signed, I want to say, in 98 to 99, and we put out Fundamental that came out in 99.
And that had Rock the Party in Southtown on it?
Yeah. And because we got...
I remember seeing that, not the control. I remember seeing the kid with the straight edge shirt on.
Yeah.
In the backyard, everybody going on. I was like, who is this? What is this? Like, it was awesome, man. I love that song.
The Southtown video, people say that all the day. They're like, they turn on and they see like, my cousin's rocking like a Zayo jersey.
Yeah.
Another one's rocking
such a diverse
helmet, whatever.
I loved it, dude.
So they saw it and they're like, what is this? And it was in the street, and it was like people kind of related. But then even when we did the Rock the Party, if you look at all the people in the bus, you got to do with a mohawk. You got these brothers that look, like gangster. You got these Mexican cats that look, so it was, we always wanted it to be diverse and not say that we're one thing. It's like, dude, this is where we come from. Like, we know all these people.
Yeah.
And in our hood, people rock metal, the hip hop, reggae, Mexican music, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like we're San Diego is very culturally like broad.
So that was a major label, that record?
Yeah, Atlantic Records. We did things on our own forever, and then but we signed to Atlantic Records. I want to say in '98.
Yeah, was Civ on there too?
On Atlantic?
I thought there was like a imprint of.
There was
Atlantic.
imprints, yeah.
That's right, Lava or something like. I don't know what that was.
Lava came around the time right after we did our first record too. The Lava started to blow up. Yep.
Because that was like maybe Orange 9mm, maybe
I
Civ.
remember Orange 9. Was Orange 9 on there?
I don't know. I thought they were part of the whole imprint thing. But so
they might have been.
Yeah. So
we were huge Orange 9 fans.
Yeah,
dude.
man.
Yeah,
great
dude.
band, man.
Yep.
Underrated. Not many people talk about them.
Yeah. We were, dude.
Fred Durst told me straight up that band inspired him to start Limp Bizkit. I could not believe it. And
really?
Yeah, man.
I would have never.
He says what's up, by the way, too.
Oh, that's what's
yesterday,
up.
And Freddie.
That's what's up.
So were you guys, when the Fundamentals come out, you guys blowing up at that time? Or you still just grinding?
No, we were grinding, man. At that time, we were just doing all the underground stuff. And then on that record,
that video was getting played, bro. That's
right. But even before Rock the Party came out, the first Southtown wasn't getting played, but it was like, okay, it was. I don't even think it never even went to radio, but I think in the college circuits, we were starting to get some stuff. But at the time, Primus took us out. They were the first. That was the first big band that.
Wow, and they were big then too.
Yeah, and we were like, this is nuts.
My name is Mud.
Yeah. And they were so, they're sweethearts, and everybody was so cool to us.
Yeah, great band.
And then right after that, Seven Dust took us out.
And they were killing too then. I remember Seven Dust.
Yeah. So our album came out in 99. So Seven Dust took us out, and we just started to kind of jump on little tours. Yeah. It was 2000. I'll never forget, because my daughter was born in end of March, but Korn had actually hit us up to go on one of their tours. But
were they big at that point? Yeah, Korn.
They were they had just hit that.
Okay.
Right. So no, they were. Hey, I'm retracted. They were big.
Okay.
Right. They were big. They were big because they were all over MTV.
Yeah.
But so they heard of us, and it was because of Southtown.
Yeah.
And then so they had asked us to go on their U.S. tour, and I'll never forget. Our manager was like, "Dude, it was the biggest news ever. Like, Korn wants to take you guys out." But at the time, my wife was my daughter was going to be born. So I remember the guys were all stoked, and I looked at them and I was like, dude, my that's when my daughter's born. I can't go out. And everybody understood, but it was kind of that, oh man. But we
family
stood
first,
yeah,
man.
family first. So we luckily they supported me, stood my ground. Like, I'm not gonna miss my first kids,
man.
So we called back Korn and said, dude, thank you so much, but we're not gonna do it. Whatever reason, then they called us back maybe a couple weeks later and said, well, we're going to Europe in the summertime, and we'd love to take you.
Wow, first
so
time.
Then it was and not only that,
wow.
we were on tour. We were going to be on tour with Seven Dust, and we were like, we're not going to back down on Seven Dust because we got a better, quote unquote, better offer from Korn.
Yeah.
And we had never met the Seven Dust guys either. But for us, just trying to be a band of integrity and stuff, professional. We were like, we're not going to cancel out on Seven Dust to go with Korn. Like, that's just, we don't want to be known as that band. So we held our ground.
Any band would have done that, and that's amazing you didn't do that.
We held our ground with Seven Dust, which Seven Dust took us out, complete sweethearts, gentlemen. Probably still one of my favorite bands, the nicest bands, And they showed us the ropes just like Primus did. In that world, because we weren't in the rock club world yet. We were just doing stuff still, DIY style.
Yeah.
And then my daughter was born, and then we went to and then Korn took us to Europe. It was like mind blowing, first time ever.
Yeah, and they're a massive pry over.
But they were they were at that point.
Your main support.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
It was whatever country in. Normally, I go. Sometimes they'll have like a local band or a band from that country, and then it was us. And Korn, that was it. But this is when they had the full on jail cell set up.
I remember that.
And they'd bring in the fans, and the fans are in the cell just rocking out. We were blown away. We watched them every single night. We're like, this is nuts.
And that's your first time in Europe.
2000. We're on freaking tour with Korn.
Was that a long tour?
I mean, I think we hit every country.
Yeah, back then it was way long. Longer tours.
You do anywhere from you do from 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. Wow.
And for us, it was like, the
crowd was great for you guys.
Oh yeah. It's like, this is what it's all about, right?
Wow.
This is crazy. Like, we're on this is huge.
Wow.
And then I think that year we came back, and then we did Ozfest, and that's when Rock the Party hit MTV. And then once it hit MTV,
wasn't Southtown on MTV too, maybe, or something?
I think it might have made like 10, like number 10 at once on that top 10 of TRL. But back then it was because the fans, dude. It was the fans that voted. Like, it's not like today with our cell phones, you just punch in one number and it tells the whole story. Back then, you had to get on your phone from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, whatever your time zone was, and dial in and say, I vote for P.O.D. Rock the Party. And that's the only reason why we got any love. It wasn't the label. Dude, we didn't have like the pub. We didn't have any of that stuff.
Okay.
It was because our fans that we had built for 8 years in the underground were calling up. And then MTV had to say, like, who the heck is this band that keeps getting requested?
I love that, though, man.
And because of them, Southtown was making noise. So we got on their radar because of Southtown. But once Rock the Party hit, it was more friendly. It was more fun.
Yeah.
And once our fans got us to number one, it was pretty much we were on their radar. Because I think the only rock bands at the time that hit number one was Biscuit and Korn.
Okay.
So that's why they're like, who the hell is this band called P.O.D. that nobody knows who this band is.
It's amazing.
And they're number one. It's the fans. And that's what I always like to tell that story, because
it's beautiful.
Unfortunately, we're missing that now.
Yeah.
But back then it was like, dude, this is my band,
We love them. We want to see them.
We love them and we want them. Yeah.
That's a different.
They just don't want you to go so mainstream,
I know, but there's there's the different scene. It's like you're a sellout because you have more fans
we got that
in the basement.
Yeah.
But it's like, to hear the fans voted for you and got you there, it's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Like that's
I always have to give it up to them.
Man.
It's the kids that, and we were kids at the time too. It was those kids that were like, no, dude, I've been rocking with this band for years now.
Yeah.
And so when the opportunity of any type of exposure, they did it. They grinded it out.
Had your back, man.
It was, and to me, it's the most beautiful thing ever.
So now everything's changing for you with that record and Rock the Party, and so the shows are getting bigger and you're feeling it?
Well, we're starting to get on we're starting to get on some of the rock shows or whatever, and we're getting we're moving into this rock scene,
Yeah.
We're getting special, MTV would throw a rock and jock bowling, and we get on it like, what? We started to get on stuff, and it was like, then we got Ozfest, which was crazy.
Game changer.
And that was a game changer for us. And I think, again, because our video was out, we literally got not even the opening slot, but the second shot on the main stage.
Wow.
Which, most of the new bands all played on the side stage.
Yeah.
So for us to get there in a time, I think it was like Queens of the Stone Age, bro.
Okay.
So we got after them, and that we met all these guys, and like here we are on tour with freaking Pantera. We're like, this is crazy, dude. Incubus was on,
Incubus, yeah.
And it was nuts for us.
Wow.
And it was all new because we weren't used to playing with these rock bands, these rock star bands. It was mostly like underground punk stuff or hardcore stuff, and so we were just students at that time. Like, this is crazy.
So are you just strictly in tour mode then? Are you starting to write songs for Satellite on those tours? You just in tour mode, right?
We just strictly tour mode, and it wasn't like we were doing our own tours. And actually, then I think we did take out we took out Head PE, band called Project 86, and we took out Linkin Park. And when nobody knew who they were, they played 15 minutes, bro. No, but they were on Warner Brothers, so we already knew these guys are gonna blow up.
Yeah,
we already knew that this machine was, and they're great.
Yeah,
this is the last time they're gonna be playing club shows.
Yeah,
we were playing the club shows. That's when we got to know all those guys. We knew that after this, like their song was already killing it on the radio.
Oh, they had a song.
It was
Tried so hard.
No, it was One Step Closer to the Edge.
Yeah.
I'm about to break. Yeah. So we were like, they're 15 minutes.
Everything
they killed it.
You said.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So they were already on the radio.
Wow.
So we took them out, and then they skyrocketed.
You could feel it too, probably. Right?
They skyrocketed from there. So after we were done touring, and then we'd get home, and then to us it was just, here we were touring our butts off, and then we'd get home, and all the homies and our friends are like, dude, you guys are blowing up. We're like, we didn't see it because we were so busy touring.
Yeah, you're in it, yeah.
But then when the record went gold, it was huge. We're like, by the time we recorded the Rock the Party video, they presented us our gold plaque. We're like, wow, that's crazy. So it actually went gold just by grinding with Ozfest, Korn. I don't even think the Ozfest is just the Korn tour. It was we were grinding.
Yeah.
And they were like, but once Rock the Party went and we hit MTV, when that record went platinum, we were just, this is craziness to us.
Wow.
This is craziness to us. And so when it was time to write Satellite, there was no pressure. We just thought like, dude, well, we earned those fans. They'll probably come with us on the next record. Yeah. And so then we started writing, and it was like, okay,
is that Howard Benson?
Howard Benson, yeah. We were Howard Benson's first gold and platinum record. Wow. Now his wall is...
Yeah, we did Hazen Street with him later on. Yeah. We did your record. Wow. Yeah. Interesting cat. Shout out to Howard Benson, man. So I was rocking sweatpants, and he's interesting.
Oh, yeah. The most flexible old guy you ever know. Yeah.
Okay, so Howard Benson. Okay, how did you pick him? Is that something that just happened?
We went up, our rep, A&R, John Rubley, he signed us, and it's killing me. He actually, we went and met with another guy, but he had did like In Living Color. He did some people, but see, back then Pro Tools wasn't around, so we went with him. We met with him. We thought we were gonna go with him, but he goes, I want you to meet this guy called Howard Benson. He did Body Count. He did, even Motorhead. So we're like, okay, sick. Let's meet with them. But once Howard Benson, and he's complete, computer nerd geek producer. Even when you see him, you're like, this isn't Rick Rubin, bro. Who is this guy?
It's true.
And he starts talking to us about Pro Tools, and we're like, he was trying to sell us on it because nobody was doing it. And then once we decided to go with him, we're like, can we at least track on tape? Because we're old school, right? Yeah. We didn't. The thought of recording on a computer back then, 99 was nuts, or 98.
Yeah, for sure.
So we did it, and we recorded everything on tape. Did the record. By the time we hit Satellite, we trusted him. We're like, all right, we'll just do whatever. We don't need to go on tape anymore. So we still have reels of like that first album.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. And then but when Satellite came out, bro, our thought was like, okay, well, let's be more universal. Let's try singing a little bit. Let's
push ourselves.
Yeah. Let's be more open to to try and capture whoever.
And he's good with that stuff too. Yeah,
and he pushed me. And to this day, I think I always give Howard credit that, dude, I would have never even known what a song structure was if it wasn't for him, because we were we'd have 8 minutes, freaking 10 verses, different choruses. We didn't know. We're just jamming. Yeah. But he lined us up and how to do that. Even now when I write, it's very hard for me to go out of that box because the guys will jam and I'm like, bro, what? So what's the chorus? What's the there's no structure. Yeah. I'm like, let me put it in because I need to write lyrics. So let me put it into this structure, But I've all learned that from Howard.
Was
man.
his engineer named Mike or something?
Not when we did the first record. When we
Okay.
did the second record, it wasn't even Mike. You're talking about Mike Plotnikoff. That's his guy to this day.
Okay.
It wasn't even him. We used. Oh, dude, I'm so bad with names.
It's okay.
But we used the cat that did the I think it was the Back in Black record for AC/DC.
Okay.
So when he came in and engineered it all, it's gonna kill me. I can't remember.
That's all right, man.
But so he was actually supposed to that was the deal. Like, okay, we got this all-star guy. He's gonna engineer our record with Howard, and he's gonna mix it. Then he mixed Alive, and it wasn't. I mean, to me, I would have been like, cool, but to Howard and them, it was like, it's not where we wanted it. And so what they did, because I think we had like maybe one song with what's the tag team, Howard's the two brothers. The mixing G.
I don't know.
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, anyways, he's him and Howard are the one that have done all.
Yeah.
And again, I'm drawing complete blanks.
Not the Dust Brothers, right?
No. And now I'm drawing complete blanks. But whatever. It's Chris Lord Alge.
Lord Alge.
Chris Lord Alge. So
Lord Alge Brothers.
But you know whatever he cost. And then once my man couldn't do Alive, they tossed it over to Chris Lord Alge, and then it was just like, just let him do the whole record. So there's actually a different mixed version of Alive. But once they had the cookie cutter Howard Benson to Chris Lord Alge, and that's why all the bands went to these guys, because there was a certain sound. It was a cookie cutter sound that they kind of created with P.O.D.
Yeah, and it was a massive difference with him doing it, right? Oh, yeah.
And so once they did it, it was a no-brainer. He mixed the whole record, and then obviously the album came out on 9/11.
That's right.
And so, but Alive was already number one at radio. It was number one on TRL.
Wow.
So when it dropped, we were one out of 3, 4, 5 bands that anybody wanted to listen to, because at the time everybody was it was a tragedy.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to hear, Slipknot.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to hear, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor by.
The song was,
it was just, it put us, for that moment in time, it put us in the face of people that needed music as healing.
Yeah.
Which music is, but it's also entertaining. It's also all kinds of different avenues. But at the time, you have a song called Alive that's number one at radio, and then 9/11 happens. Then people were like, now they cared what we had to say,
Yeah.
So
it was on the radio for a long time leading up to the release, like a couple months.
Yeah,
out,
it was our single.
I know, but wow, man.
So it just happened to be, and then especially for New York, it was like,
yeah, dude.
P.O.D. this is our band.
Wow,
and then once
man.
Youth of the Nation came out, then it was like, here was another kind of crossover song, and it was like, all right, these guys are deeper than what than what we gave them credit for, and so people just started to pay attention, bro. And then we went out on our very first
headlining.
Europe headlining, and
wow.
And by the time we were already reaching these countries in Europe, dude, they were literally handing us gold plaques. Like all these places were like, what is going on here? But it was because I don't even think Alive was the first single in any other country but the U.S. Youth of the Nation was the song. So by the time we got to Germany, by the time we got to Ireland, all this stuff, dude, the reps are coming out giving us gold and platinum plaques. And we're like, what the heck is going on, dude? This is crazy. Wow. We took out El Nino and El Nino and New York Cats too.
Yeah.
El Nino and Skin Dread.
And
by the time we were playing, dude, the second time we go back to Europe, first time was with Korn. Now we're doing headlining and we're selling out shows. And dude, we're just like kids that are saying, this is crazy.
So crazy.
This is crazy.
Meanwhile, back in the U.S., it's blowing up. It's just...
Yeah. And we're doing Ozfest again for the second time, 2002. So we went to Europe, and right when we got home, it was like, get ready for Ozfest. And at that time, dude, that's when then Sharon, dude, they paid us. We were getting paid. It was like, this is crazy.
Wow.
This is crazy. It all happened. It didn't happen like that. But to be 4 guys from the neighborhood, that's like, dude, people know who we are. This is crazy.
Then you shot the next video.
Rock the Party was sorry. Alive, Youth of the Nation, and all that time we were touring nonstop, bro. It was like, this is crazy. But we knew, dude, if we grind it now, tour 12 months out of the year, and just go for it, then when next time when it comes down to negotiating or whatever, we'll have kind of some leverage, and this is what it takes.
Yeah.
We need to freaking grind it out. You know?
Had you been playing the live yet before you went to Europe, or this is the first time really playing it since it blew
No,
up?
that's because of the satellite record. We didn't have platinum or gold plaques for any other country during Fundamental, except US. But once satellite hit, and then now the label was like, okay, these guys have something, and then they actually pushed us to Europe.
Okay.
They didn't push us to Europe and other countries before.
Yeah.
So here we are for the first time, and it was just massive. But dude, right before 9/11, we played for TRL at Battery Park.
Okay.
3 or 4 days before 9/11.
Wow.
And I remember leaving Battery Park, playing for TRL, and seeing the Twin Towers. And my boy, rest in peace, Matty Matt, New York hustler, he was like giving us the touring spice. And there's the Twin Towers, and there's this and that. And we're like, whoa, this is crazy, And then all of a sudden we come home to do record release, and we were at whatever records 9-10 at midnight, because remember they sold records at Tuesday. So midnight we're doing signing. We signed in our satellite record till like 3-4 in the morning. We get home with the intentions of playing at the Roxy for our release date. We go home to sleep 2 hours, and then we get the call. Boom. Turn on the TV. And it was like, and then a lot of our reps that were from Atlantic Records that lived in New York, they were with us, and they couldn't even fly home.
Yeah.
And so they ended up just kicking them, and everybody would just stay at my grandmother's, and my family would cook for them for literally 2 weeks. We just waited it out.
Shut down. That's right.
Yeah, we just waited it out, and then that's when, so for us it was like, okay, it's what it is. We're tending to the world. We didn't even care about our record, right?
Yeah.
Yet then until we get the call, and people are like, dude, the song Alive is just, it's resonating now more than ever.
It's incredible.
So then I remember them calling me. I remember they gave me the number to call into TRL when they're sitting, Carson Daly and everybody in New York is just, everybody's still heartbroken, everybody's somber. And they're like, they want you to call in and encourage the country.
I remember this actually.
Bro, and in my mind, I'm like, what do I have to? I'm sitting here too, like wondering what the heck's going on with our universe, our world. But I think at the time they only cared about P.O.D. had Alive.
Yeah.
They cared about, I think Enrique Iglesias had a song called Hero.
I think
Lenny Kravitz had a song, and so I remember it was only us bands that they wanted to hear from, and I was like, this is nuts, dude. Like,
but this brings us back to earlier about music at the low of the totem pole. When the pandemic hit, something really bad hit. This is something horrifying too. But your music was really.
That's what and that's what I mean. They didn't want to hear. They were tuning out the bands that were just rock and roll, sex, drugs, rock and roll.
You had a message and everything.
Yeah, it was there, and that's the power of music.
Substance.
Substance. There you go.
Yeah.
And we were always, if anything, we always took pride in. It's like, dude, that song was there before this tragedy happened.
Yes.
And so we took it like it was meant to be,
Yeah.
And that's why I'm excited for, even through like this pandemic, like I'm hoping, even us, we're writing right now. I'm hoping that it births something that's meaningful, know? Like I don't want to hear the same old. That's why I don't really. That's why I'm not really into the hip hop of today, because it's so much. And I like flossing, dude.
Yeah.
But we do it in our music too. But
but
when it's strictly so self-absorbed, and it's all about just the money you have, the drugs you're doing, how better you are than everybody else. Like that's not what the world needs right now. Like Like I don't want to see a dude walking in the neighborhood who's got, whatever, $300,000 on him. Like I don't blame somebody that's gonna take it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm not promoting violence, but
yeah.
Walk down there with dude, and you got $300,000 worth of gold on you. Like you're lucky if you can survive without it. I mean, with it.
No, for sure. I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So again, I'm hoping that there really are bands and groups that come out that have substance, and I like the ones that do. That when they have something to say, I'm like, dude, I want to hear what this guy or girl has to say.
Yeah. So that song was like a soothing. Everybody connected to that song.
Yeah.
That day. And then so you're home for 2 weeks hanging out with these dudes from New York, like your label guys, and then you have to go back on tour soon, no?
I think once things cleared up, I think we had actually even came out to New York to do a MTV episode or TRO episode and it had to do with 9/11. They were still cleaning up everything, and I remember they took us down to even
Ground Zero.
And you can still, there were still cars that were still parked there.
Man.
It was, and for us, all we had seen was stuff on the news. And so for us to be there was like, it was heartbreaking.
It's heavy.
So, and then we did a, interview, and we're sitting there, and actually one of my good friends, he's a San Diego firefighter. They were pulling in resources from everywhere. So we happened to be there while he was there, and they even brought him on MTV, and they're talking to him. He's a firefighter, and he was like, he was going in the tunnels. They were going in there still looking for bodies.
Yeah.
And there was stuff he's like, he couldn't even talk about. He was just like, yeah, it's heartbreaking being here,
man.
So we were just there for this kind of still healing thing, but New York was trying to, the whole world was just trying to get back to the norm,
Yeah, I remember everybody canceled their tours. I think we went to Australia like 3 weeks later. A bunch of people canceled, but we still went, tried to leave, and we ended up doing that. But yeah, I just moved here in 2001 before it happened. I just got to Cali, and I had all this weird like guilt. Oh, that's my city. I should have been there. Not like I could have done anything, but I had this weird thing. Yeah, it was heavy, man. It was a crazy time, dude. Man.
Yeah, super heavy.
But then at the same time, it's like your song is massive, and you're selling his records, and your band's totally blowing up, and it's like
it was nuts. Yeah, we didn't know how to, it was just a kind of
to navigate.
It was a weird but great time. It was like, look at, as far as U.S. goes, and even the world in general, it's like we're living in crazy times.
Yeah.
But here our record is blowing up, and we're like, this is nuts.
And it would sell like 3 million or something. Ended up selling like 3 million.
Overall, I think it
probably more than that.
I think even worldwide, I think it might even went up to 5 to 6, bro. It was just.
So you get a satellite thing when boom single. Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
And then after Alive Youth, then we did the boom video, and it
man.
And then to this day, you still hear it on ESPN, and you still hear it. It just became a sports channel kind of.
What, the boom?
Yeah, boom, dude. And then movies, you're like, this is, it's not like we don't know.
So you started getting movies with a lot of those songs, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And even during the Southtown, that album, like we got hit up by Adam Sandler, and we were getting cool little stuff to do the Little Nicky soundtrack, and it was like,
oh, that's right.
We were getting opportunities that were like, this is crazy. How does Adam Sandler know that our band exists? Because it wasn't like we weren't on MTV yet, but Adam Sandler was hip, and he's like, dude, I love you guys' band. Like, this is nuts.
Wow, man.
He had us on a Little Nicky special, and it was us, Deftones, and Incubus, and we were all sitting with Adam Sandler, and we all sang The Joker by Steve Miller.
Like, is that online crazy? Somewhere? Probably. Yeah.
Oh yeah, online somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah. It's I think Chino's singing, and all of the rest of us are just kind of doing all the backups and the chorus stuff. But
dude,
that was, for me, that was the most fun like era of like music. You know what I mean? Because everybody was kind of in their own lane. Even though they want to lump you up, but you had the Incubus of the world. System of a Down, Korn, Deftones. There was just.
Were they calling you rap rock? Like, what was your genre they were putting you in back then?
Before we even signed, we've heard it all, dude. We were rap rock, rap metal, rap core. Everybody, we didn't know, we just blew that off. But then once it became nu metal, it was like, it's not like we ever took the flag and said, oh, we're nu metal. It was just like, whatever, dude. We've been called a million things at this point. Like, so that's not going to stick, but I guess it stuck,
I like rapcore. I never heard that before.
Rapcore, to me, I liked it.
I thought it,
because we were still trying to define what we were. But when we came out and people heard us, they're like, oh, you guys kind of are like Body Count. And we're like, you're just, because we rap and Ice-T raps, but obviously you haven't listened to Body Count because he's doing Body Count. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Ice-T likes punk rock.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so he and I don't really think he blended the two. I mean, there was, he is who he is, but I think he was going more for the punk stuff. And then, so people were like, oh, you guys sound like Body Count. I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. And then when Rage, thank you, because we love Body Count, right?
Yeah.
And then when Rage Against the Machine came out, it was like, oh, dude, you guys kind of remind me like Rage Against the Machine. And then we were like, oh, cool. Yeah. But we remember when Zach was in Inside Out, and he was coming to San Diego to watch House of Suffering, and that's an Amenity and all that stuff. And House of Suffering was they were the guys that kind of took us on their wing a little bit, because we would go to their shows and we're like,
named after a Bad Brain song, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
And but it's because of Daryl. Daryl was rest in peace. He was rapping, and we were like, oh, you can, this rap thing and music. But to me, they're like they're the OGs. Okay. So. Once Rage came out, it was like, oh, you guys sound like Rage. But I remember somebody a buddy of ours coming from Javier Mata, I got to give him props this time. He came from Soma's from watching. He went to go see Rage, and didn't even know where they were. Brought back their freaking tape and said, "Dude, you guys are the same."
Wow.
And so that's the first time we heard Rage. We're like, "What the heck?"
Wow.
And we were like, "These dudes are sick."
Yeah.
But I knew of Downset.
Oh yeah, Downset too. Yeah.
From LA because of they were on some like little mixtape. Yeah. Once I heard Anger, bro, I was like, these fools. I'm like, okay.
Right, Anger.
But so all of us, yeah. Hostility towards the opposition. Anger.
Florence and Normandy.
Yeah.
29th.
Yeah. And he was talking about Zach.
That's right. There was some weird beef.
There was some beef.
That's right.
Because Ray was like, shout out to Ray.
Yeah, shout out to Ray.
He was like, no, we're the true like rap kind of core rap rock from the hood type of, when he didn't think that, I think he didn't think that, the Rage guys were credible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, remember that? That's right.
Yeah,
man.
Listen to Anger.
Okay, I didn't know.
Punk mother never even
right.
seen a 9.
Oh, that's right.
I catch you slipping. Punk, I'm gonna phase you.
I know there was beef, but I realized that song was a diss track. Wow. Okay.
Because did
Rage ever respond?
No, but I don't think so. But I thought it, maybe, dude, someone correct me if not. I always thought it was a diss track to Rage.
It makes sense.
Because, they were raging and they were all whatever. Harvard, they were all, it wasn't Downset. It wasn't, it wasn't, to them, when you're from the streets, or the hood, you're like, it's just not credible. So that's when
everybody's
went
getting
off.
checked. Yeah,
everybody's getting checked. Back then you did anyway. Now you don't. Now everybody gets a pass.
So
there is no pass anymore.
It's true. It's true though. Yeah, people check your credentials for sure.
Back then. Now there's no pass.
Like where you're from, what scene.
Yeah. You had to prove it.
Yeah.
Now there's no proof.
So how much pressure do you feel after Satellite to make another? Do you even care? Are you in that zone mentally where like, oh my God, we just had like 4 hits, 4 videos off this album.
Yeah.
And then you go, is there a lot of stress on that or no?
There was.
Or pressure from the label?
Not pressure from the label, but this is where things took a turn. So Marcos, our original guitar player who's with us now, right at that time, dude, everybody's blowing up. Whatever happened, there's no blame. Now we're just over it, but that's when we split from him.
Okay.
So at this point, we have millions of records under our belt. We've never been paid a dime from the label, but
make
now,
your money now.
Yeah, but so now we can go and negotiate with them. Okay, let's negotiate some money now, right? We've sold millions of records. You haven't paid us a dime.
We're not making money to buy a house or anything at that point. You didn't buy yourself
off of touring, bro.
Yep, the touring.
Dude, thank God for Ozfest, bro.
Because
Ozfest is when we got our first payday.
Because you're in a bus, you're taking tour support.
You're paying it all back to the label.
Yeah, kids, listen, you get tour support, you get money advances, all that signing bonuses. It comes back later. You have to get all your royalties, all that, man.
Let's say that's
it's not free.
The label was designed to keep the artist in debt. You've heard that forever in rap songs. You've heard it, and that's truth. So even now, this is what's even more crazy. Check this out. So we're millions of records sold with Atlantic Records, and we're still recouping.
Still recouping.
How does that make sense?
Wow, man.
We're still recouping because whatever. Every time they took a flight. Every time they did whatever, they charge it all to P.O.D. We didn't know that. We're not desperate. We're not lawyers. We're not. Come on,
man.
We're just playing music.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is where it gets crazy. So with Marcos,
it's gonna make me sad. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad. So we're negotiating, right? And we're like, we're finally gonna get our payday. Because we have like a whatever many record deal, but dude, to do our next record, they finally have to break bread, right?
Yeah.
So we're negotiating, bro, and it's like buying a house. The number's going up, and we're like, this is great, but the number's going up. We're stoked. We're like, bro, and we're talking millions of dollars.
Okay.
So we're like, I can't believe we're in this position, but we've worked our ass off for the last few years. We're in the driver's seat, and then all of a sudden it's going up, keep going back and forth. And then the drama starts to happen with our guitar player, Marcos. So which eventually leads to him not being in the band.
Yeah.
There's no, before we used to fight, he was fired. Oh, he quit. Now it's just, that was our split.
Yeah.
And so we did the right thing. So now this number is up, right? With Atlantic Records.
For the next
album.
It's
still going up for the next record. The moment we do the right thing and we say, hey, Marcos is no longer in the band but we're ready. Like, we're ready to write. They come back with the offer. Boom. Dropped it back down to freaking peanuts.
Why?
Because to them, unless we bought it, was that you're not the same band anymore. That was their reason for cutting us out of all the millions of dollars.
Was he a main songwriter with you guys?
Oh yeah, for sure. But they didn't know that.
Okay.
Because we've always split up
equal us too.
So it was never like that, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's weird.
But they used it against us. But in our maybe even anger and pride, we're like, cool, we'll show you we can do it again.
Okay.
So, which I wish we would have just fought and got lawyers and everything.
Man.
So we do that. We take their scraps and we go on to and then we got called to do the Matrix Reloaded song.
Oh wow.
And so at that point we're like, hey, nobody knows this, but we don't have a guitar player right now. So we call a friend of ours, Jason Truby. He played for Living Sacrifice, a friend out of Little Rock, Arkansas. He flies in. We do the song. They love it. And then we were just like, hey, dude, you want to write a record with us? It was, and it was just, sure, it was that easy. And then he did the next 2 records with us.
Okay.
But the moment we did our 3rd record, which was Payable on Death, same thing. First single, Will You, #1 TRL, radio. We're like, okay, we're back on the groove, the whole 9. We do another video called Change the World.
Yep.
Bro, did a video, the whole 9, sent this dude around the world because our budget's there. Killer video.
Crazy
if you ever seen it.
Back then.
Yeah. We're on the freaking, now they're on the Linkin Park tour. But at that time was when all the labels were shutting down. The Elektra, all these bands, they were all closing.
Yeah.
We were going to Atlantic Records offices in New York, and all of a sudden this a whole floor of offices were shut down. Everything. Lights are down low.
Yeah.
Everything is gone. Come to find out, here we are on the biggest tour of the year with Linkin Park. Linkin Park, us, Hoobastank, Story of the Year.
Hoobastank. Story of the Year's on there?
Story of the Year,
Cool.
Love Story of the Year. So here we are, we're all bros. We're on the biggest tour. They don't even work. Our first single is #1 MTV, #1 radio. They don't even work our second song to radio, to MTV. It sat on their desk because everybody was getting fired. Wow. So at that point, we realized that, dude, they made their money off us. They don't.
Yeah.
Right? They don't care anymore. Wow, they care about their jobs.
Yeah.
And everybody that, we're relationship people, that we've built relationships that helped with Atlantic, that helped create P.O.D. with us, they're all fired.
Wow, man. So your A&R guy, like
everybody's fired, bro. So we're like,
so nobody there now, yeah.
So we don't even do records. So the next record we have.
So that record's over at that point? You stopped touring, whatever on that?
Oh yeah. Well, we toured it, but we pretty much done.
Wow.
So we went in to do another record, and every record you get, our budget's is bigger, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they want you to spend your budget, and so we did. We put out our 4th record, Testify. Yeah. But same thing, bro. They same thing. They did nothing with it. Madishahu's on it. Who else was on it? We got freaking.
There's somebody else in there too. I saw.
We had the Booyah was on there.
This is the first one not produced by Harold Benson.
This is our first record. Yes, it started with another cat, and we ended up going to Glenn Ballard to finish it up.
Goodbye for Now is the song, right?
Yeah, Katy Perry was on. She wasn't Katy Perry at the time,
that's
but
right, 'cause she was on the Warped. I remember that.
She was just hanging around the studio because Glenn Ballard was.
Wow.
He did he put out Alanis Morissette. He's a genius, right?
Okay.
But at the time, I was like, dude, we need a female vocal on this song. He's like, I got the girl. I'll bring her in if you guys vibe with her. So Katy Perry would hang around the studio all the time.
Wow.
Super tomboy, super dorky.
Yeah.
Cool as heck. And she sang on it. Did some TV appearances with us, and then she became Katy Perry.
Wow,
not because of us, but
no.
But
P.O.D. put her on.
Yeah. Remember, I said.
That's pretty crazy,
right?
Though. Wow.
But even that record, bro, Booyah Tribe's on there. Sick Jackin's on there.
Sick Jackin, yeah.
I want to say Sendog's on.
I was going to say Cypress. Somebody from Cypress.
Yeah. So it was, regular P.O.D. record.
Yeah.
They didn't do nothing.
Wow.
So by the time here we are, 4 records deep with Atlantic. Now here comes our 5th record.
Are you making some money though? Like you're chilling, like you got money saved.
Bro, not for. I mean, you make money off of touring, and you make money off publishing when.
But you're living off the band, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, completely.
And you moved out. You have your own somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. So and again, special.
You're surviving.
We got a little bit of money.
Okay.
We got some money that put us in a great position. Well, at least it wasn't the payday that we expected.
Yeah.
But we thought, dude, we'll just keep grinding and working hard like we always do. It'll come back to us, right?
Yeah.
But the moment they stopped working the records, so after we did our 4th record, Testify, they did nothing with it. So we go in to record our 5th record. Now our budget is really, really huge. And then we just basically made a deal with Atlantic. And we were just like, dude, why do another record for you? You guys put our heart and soul into a record. You guys aren't going to do nothing with it. You don't care about us.
Yeah.
So, and the only way for us to get off that record or to get out of it was because we were just like, dude, we're going to take your $1 million budget and write a $5 record and pocket the rest. That's what we were willing to do it.
Yeah.
We're like, we'll record it out of our bathroom. And in the time, it wasn't like you could. Now you can record it out of your bathroom.
Oh, totally.
But back then, that was 2008.
2008.
Yeah, you couldn't, so we were like, so basically we got out. All they wanted from us, they let us go. No money, no nothing. But we had to do a greatest hits with them.
A greatest hits.
So we did 2 songs with them. They did a video for it, and we were pretty much off the hook. No goodbye money. I mean, no nothing. And I was like, dude, again, this label, whatever, they won. The label won.
But to let you get off like that's pretty amazing too. Major labels usually have you forever, man.
True, but they also saved themselves, I think, $1 million, which was the budget. Like, dude, so that's how we tricked them. Wow. Instead of taking $1 million and doing a freaking $5 record and keeping it, it was about the music. We're like, dude, keep your money. Like, just let us go. Like, we just don't want to be. We don't want to be with them anymore. And they're a powerhouse. They're a machine. They still are. But we made a choice as a band. We're like, we don't want to do this. Like, we make music so people can hear it. Like,
do you tour on that record though? The When Angels one.
When Angels came out, so then we went to a different label. Yeah. When that came out, then we went through our own drama. Other more band drama. Yeah. So I was done at that point.
You burnt, yeah.
I was burnt, and then but we didn't. I think we did some flyouts. We did some acoustic stuff. We didn't tour that record. Now, and that was it was bad. But we were going through so much inner stuff. Where it's like, but that was the album that Marcos came back on.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were excited, and people were excited, but then all of a sudden we had another drama in our band, and it just kind of took the wind out of our sail. And that's when 2009 is when I said, dude, can we just take a year off and kind of maybe we can get all our stuff together, Yeah. And then 2009 came and it just kind of stretched out a few years.
It happened so fast. I mean, it didn't happen fast, but you guys were going so hard. You know what I mean? It's hard like just to digest everything. And
it was. It took some. I just needed to get back. That's when I cut my lot.
I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
During the end of the recording of When Angels and Serpents. Yeah. I came home. We record up here in LA. We'd go home for the weekends. I went home, and my wife was 8 months pregnant. I had my 2 little girls. We were sitting outside, and I went and got the camera. I was there. I was just like, it just hit me, and then I went and got the camera. I told my wife, take some pictures of me and my girls, and she did. And then I gave it to my daughter. I said, hey, take some pictures of me and mommy. It's summertime. I got hair out, we're tank top. I have my dreads all over her belly, big old pregnant belly. And then my wife's like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? And then after my kids took the pictures, I went inside. I brought back the scissors and I gave it to my wife. And I said,
wow, that's heavy, man.
I would cry. I would start tearing up.
Wow. And it
just hit me.
And just
it was a cleanse.
Over. Yeah.
This was the biggest thing that happened to my band and my family. And I gave my wife the scissors, and I said,
wow, man.
And I had just seen like this documentary or something about how like when the Marines and when soldiers go in, and it's talking about these military or these soldiers, they have no identity because they strip them of everything. They have no identity. They're gonna become soldiers.
Okay.
And so that was in my head, and I was like, and I was grateful and blessed for the run, but at that point I was like, at the end of the day, bro, like, I love what I do and I'm blessed what I do and I wouldn't change it for the world. But at the end of the day, I'm a freaking husband and I'm a daddy. Yeah. And I'm just a human being,
Yeah, dude.
I'm not trying to identify, but I have an identity. Sonny from P.O.D, he's covered in tats, got long old dreads, and he's in this band. And that's my identity. And I'm like, that's not my identity. Mm-hmm. So that's when I just, and I was rediscovering my faith, where it was like, because, here we are, we became rock stars. Your faith gets tested.
Yeah.
And again, bro, I'm not a perfect person, but now you're like, oh, dude, you got people wiping your ass. You got, you get to the best parties in the world. You got to put all your convictions into place, and all this stuff. And I'm like, when this stuff starts happening to my band, I'm like, then you just get really like lackadaisical and everything. And it was at that point I was like, you get very comfortable. Lukewarm is what the Bible calls it. The Bible calls it lukewarm.
Was the band all the band stuff because of the success and everything happening fast and the label, it's all that probably.
Yeah, well, we did two records.
Yeah.
2 records without a guitar player because we we had a falling out, and when then he finally comes back to the band, we're rekindling our friendship. Then something else happens to another member, and like it was just too much. And I'm like, bro, if rock and roll is gonna destroy like our friendships, our characters, our marriages,
it's not worth it, man.
Our kids, I'm like, bro, I didn't ask for this.
Family and friends first over all that.
Bro, I was like, I didn't ask for this. I got asked to be in this band.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were gonna leave San Diego. All of a sudden, people know who we are, and But I'll go right back to working construction. I'll work. I don't.
Yeah.
I love it,
You're not afraid of it. Yeah.
But I'm not afraid of it. And then, so at that point, I was like, dude, just take some time off. And then it just became a few years, and then that's when I got a chance to really like do a lot of community work and just kind of find myself. But, once like I said, I gave those scissors to my wife, and
that must have been so emotional, man.
It was. I bawled my eyes out. I thought it.
I feel so good too.
I'm a dread at heart. I'm growing them back. I'm a dread at heart. I just wanted to see if they grow back.
It's working though, right?
It's totally working. So, but my wife did it, and my kids did it, and I felt like I was reborn in a sense, you know? And then people started asking me, well, what the heck?
Were you Rastafarian too? You studied that?
No, no. I when I was a kid and I listened to reggae music, funny thing is that's what kind of introduced me to my faith, because I listened to so much reggae music, and when you listen to the roots of it, it's all scripture. It's biblical scripture. And the only difference, and I remember even as a kid, I was rocking a Haile Selassie medallion. Even before the brothers in my neighborhood wouldn't even rocking that. Even the Africa, they weren't even rocking that until Tone Loc and all that stuff came out. But I was rocking it because of my uncle who was Rasta, right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, who's this little, white pale kid with, rocking Haile Selassie? And but I remember one day it went missing, my medallion. And it was just a leather, and I was asking my mom, I was like, hey, have you seen my Selassie? And they're like, she's like, let me ask you something. And at this point, my wife, she's a Christian, right?
Okay.
My mom, she's a Christian. She said, let me ask you something. Do you believe that Haile Selassie is Jesus Christ reincarnated? You believe he's Jesus Christ? And I said, no, I don't. She's like, then why do you wear it? And I was like, because I love reggae music, and I respect. I honestly, I could say I love Haile Selassie. He was an Orthodox Christian. Mm-hmm. He was such a good man that the whole Rastafarian group believe he's Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that's how good of a man he is. Now, if I hope in my lifetime that I could be that good of a man that you identify me to Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's my goal in life, but it's never gonna happen because I'm a man, right? But so, and even Haile Selassie himself, you can Google it right now. He says there's a sect. And there's Rastafarians, and they claim that you are the second coming of Jesus Christ. And he says, I'm not. I mean, you can Google it right now.
Yeah.
So, but to me, the only difference between Rasta, and Christianity, I mean, even Bob Marley converted to Jesus Christ on his deathbed. Mm. He gave his life to Jesus. So they didn't like to talk about that because he was a big promoter of Rastafari.
Yeah.
But to me, the only difference between even what Marley spoke of was they believe that you can smoke herb. It's of the Lord. It was grown on Solomon's grave. That's why he was the smartest man in the world, right? So that's and that they believe that Haile Selassie was the second coming of Jesus. Aside from that, and aside from convictions though too, because Marley he planted his seed everywhere.
Yes. But
that's just a conviction that comes from faith. And if he didn't have that conviction, he didn't have that conviction. But in my faith, that's a conviction of mine that I'm not to go and to sleep with whoever I want. It's a conviction of my faith. That's it. That's it. No preaching here. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
So I was never, but people always say, well, why do you say Jah, this stuff? It's like, well, dude, in the King James Version, it says that, him that rideth upon the heavens and, all this, whatever, I can't even quote it perfect, but it says, but you shall call him by his name. It actually says Yah, Y-A-H.
Okay.
But in Hebrew, it's the J sound, so it's Jah. So when you hear reggae's people or singers stuff saying Jah, they're talking about Yahweh. I'm talking about God. Mm. So even Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah. So everybody always thinks it's a Rasta reggae thing. It's like, no, it's a Bible thing. Mm. So people would always say, well, you guys say you're Christians, but I see all this Rasta imagery or stuff, whatever. And it's just like, bro, I'm not claiming to be Rasta, but I definitely love the culture. I love the humility. I love reggae music. Dude, it was because of reggae music. Even my friends were thugging it up, and I was with them. You know what I mean? They're my homies, but that, like you said earlier, it was never my heart.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, as I started to read the Bible in my later years, it says that the word of God will never return void. So when I listened to reggae music, I was that kid that turned on my radio or my boombox and listened to reggae music and slept to reggae music. But the bands like Third World and Marley, and all these Twinkle Brothers, like all these bands back then, they were singing scripture, which is the word to me. Well, it is the word of God. Mm-hmm. So I was having the word of God sung to me as a kid, and I didn't know it. Yeah, and it was resonating in my heart. And then when you read later, the word of God will never return void. I read, dude, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. It was me. Even when my friends were thugging, I was always like, bro, we don't have to do, I was the peacemaker. You know what I mean? Yeah. I get it. I get it why we're thugging, but bro, we don't have to. Like let's find an alternative. I was that guy and my friends. Hey, why you want to hurt this? Why you want to hurt animals? Why you want to, whatever? Why do you want to do this or that? Why do you want to be thuggish, ruggish? And I get it. We're kind of raised into that mentality. Yeah. But it was because of reggae music that I was like, nah, dude, I don't want to get into fights. I don't want to steal. I don't want to rip people off. I don't want to sell drugs. I don't want to do drugs. I don't want to. And it was this scripture that was being sung to me through reggae music. So when everybody would ever want to say, well, that's this religious type of music, I'm like, dude, I don't think so. That's just music. Yeah. That's why I never liked categories of music. Are you a Christian rock band? Like, what does that mean, dude?
People put you in that genre. Yeah.
Forever. To this day, I'll do an interview today. Like, so, are you guys a Christian band? Like, bro, freaking come on, dog. Google it. So I know. Ask us something interesting. Like, that's stupid. Yeah. I got sick of that.
I'm sure, man. Sure.
When a band like Rolling Stones would say, "So are you guys a Christian band?" I would literally say, "What do you mean by that?" Mm-hmm. Because if you're trying to tell people these guys suck because they're Christians, or you're trying to put me in a group that I agree with you probably does suck. And dude, I don't identify with your view of Christianity either. I'm still trying to define it for myself. I definitely don't agree with a lot of things. Yeah. But if you're trying to put me in a category that says, hey, if you're not a Christian, quote unquote, then don't waste your time listening to these guys. Yeah, we're saying this is music. I love Rage Against the Machine. Do I agree with his political views? No. Yeah. I mean, not all of them,
Oh, yeah. Same to all bands.
But you should be able to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I hate the fact that you were always they were always trying to put us in a category. But the moment we sold records, the record labels didn't care anymore. Now it opened up for all the bands. Now they were underground. Totally. Even that had the same kind of faith and background. Yeah. Whether it was the Zales of the world, whether it was freaking
Under Oath. Were they
Under Oath came from that world.
Yeah.
Devil Wears Prada, Norma Jean, which I'm rocking this short shirt. Norma Jean.
Norma Jean.
Just took them out to Texas. Yeah, all those guys.
That's cool.
Living Sacrifice, all these bands had those roots and they came from that world. So once P.O.D. kind of smashed that stereotype, it was like, oh, actually, so there are bands that can have Christian roots and still be good. Like, or you gave them a shot to listen to.
Yeah, give them a shot. Yeah.
What's the other band with the?
I never saw you guys like that either. I knew you were religious, but I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, see, I'm not even religious.
The music and the message.
Yeah, I'm not even. Well, because you're the kind of guy that you see through the eyes of music, and it's like you should be able to say whatever you want. Like, I never thought Beastie Boys, even when they became Buddhist, I never said, well, that's Buddhist rap. I never said that, dude. You know what I mean? Or if anything, I remember like when Shelter and stuff, like, oh, those guys are like Christian. I was like, but they wanted. I think they kind of wanted, like, we're Christian, we're
Christian core,
But we never said, oh, we're Christian rap core. Nah. Like it was. Because to me, even then, it was like music is music. I didn't grow up in that. I don't know what these bands are. Yeah. But I was never trying to market even that, like market my faith or market my belief. No way. No. And we didn't even play with all those Christian. Like we played in the underground where we knew those Christian bands, but those bands were killer, bro. They were good. Whether it was like Strong Arm. I mean, even MXPX. Yeah, remember Strong Arm?
MXPX too. Yeah.
They all came from that. All of that Tooth and Nail world.
Oh, Tooth and Nail. That's right.
But dude, there's the bands are endless that came from there that you know. They're
I never
endless.
thought of them like that. Yeah, I know MXPX.
Yeah.
I heard they were.
But even that was kind of like, even then we didn't sign it tooth and nail for that reason. Was like, we don't want to be put in a category of Christian. Oh, you're signed to a Christian label? It's like, nah. Like, we just want to make music. So we did it on our own.
Yeah, I love that.
And then we had gotten offers from even bigger labels, but they were Christian, and we're like,
This after you left the major label?
No, this was when we were doing stuff independently.
Okay, yeah.
So we were just like, we just feel like we don't want to be stuck in that world. And so when Atlantic Records came on the table, it was like, this is crazy. We're gonna sign to the same label that signed freaking AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, freaking Ray Charles, all the legends were like, this is what we. I mean,
especially come where you guys come from too.
Yeah, it was unheard of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now you have dreads growing. How old are you now?
48.
So now you're growing your dreads back. How long have you been growing them for?
We were touring heavy in 2019, and I just started letting it go, and all of a sudden I was on tour with my beanie, and I just started like kind of knotting it up, and I was like, cool, I'll just do it. And now I would do that very often, and then cut them when I got home, since I can look however I want when I get home, or when I'm on tour. I didn't care, but then they were starting to come in really good. We did a tour at the end of 2019, and I was like, dude, okay, they're locking up really nice. And then once COVID hit, I didn't have to be nowhere for I was I stayed home and I freaking wore my beanie.
Yeah.
And then when they really started to lock up, I was like, oh, I can't. Okay, I gotta see how far this plays out.
Yeah. What does your wife think about him? She stoked her back.
She wasn't stoked because she'd been there. She's seen it all. And she's like, you're gonna have to go through all that stage. And she
liked you with short hair.
Yeah, I think the older I get, she's like, you look cuter. You look like the guy I dated.
Yeah.
But it was also, she knew that like you already kind of did that, or you're gonna have to go through the crazy stage. But like I said, I was already trying it before, and then I'd be on tour and they're starting to lock up, and then I'd come home and then I have to be at my kids' like Christmas pageant or whatever. And I'm the dad walking in with a beanie, and like every other dad is wearing a tie, and here I am walking in. And I'm not a tie guy, but
me either.
But man, at least I could, when I have my hat, I could be clean, or I can style my hair, or even when I was just shaving my head for a while, at least it looks clean. Yeah. But now it's like, here I am. I'm the dad in my 30s, and now
you're the tattooed dad in the band.
It's already bad enough that I'm covered in tattoos.
And then you have dreads or a beanie.
Yeah. So I'm like,
isn't it so weird? Like going to society after do what we do, and then you're like a dad, and then you're like at the PTA meetings, or you go into the school. We used to serve lunch at the school. They call me Tattoo Man. Then you're trying to talk to all the other dads, and you're like at something where everybody's trying to mingle. And you feel so awkward. You're like, what do you do? I'm in a band. What kind of music? It's like hardcore kind of punk.
Yeah, you have to explain it.
Metallica, now Green Day, somewhere in between with melodies. And you have to explain like what you do, and you're like this tattooed freak. Yeah, it's so weird, but trying to like be normal. Yeah. Like in that world,
Yeah. Well, we've been through it when it wasn't normal. Now it's normal. I mean, there's a side of me that was like, and I probably wouldn't, but I always joke with my kids and everything. I'm like, the moment they come out with a cream that takes away all my tattoos away, I'm like, the no tattoo is the new tattoo for me.
Nah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when young kids are like, I can't wait to get this. I'm like, dude, just hold on.
Neck and my face first.
I can't stand that, bro. I see kids all the time. I'm like,
it's crazy, bro.
To this day, bro, there's still bands and friends that I know that walk around, and all of a sudden when it's too hot and they got to wear shorts, I'm like, you don't have one tattoo on your freaking legs, and your whole face is covered.
Yeah, like their neck up and their shirt off. They have nothing on their arms.
Bro, I've seen kids with their shirts off, their neck done, and their hands done, and that's it.
Yeah, we sound so old, but it's true. There was like a way, like you collected me whole life in this process, and I just saw you just got your hands.
Yeah, too. Yeah. Well,
but you waited. You've been doing your whole life.
Well, I wouldn't wait on my hands, but that was a wifey thing.
Okay.
And she's still not happy that.
Okay, I had a wifey thing too. I had a contract.
see how my neck's
never tattoo my hands.
Yeah. I'd have a contract.
Many times. It's the worst contract I ever done with my wife, and I said fuck it. I went crazy, and now she's just like, she knows, like,
yeah.
I don't know, but my wife was against it too, bro. She thought it looked dirty. She hated the way it looked. And
well, my wife was like, even now, if you look at my neck, my neck would be done. Bro. My neck would be done if it wasn't for my wife, and she's still upset that I did my hands, right? Not upset in a playful way, but it's like she knows that that's who I am and stuff. But her excuse is not even that it's ugly. She's just like, dude, I want to see your skin. That's all. Yeah. And to me, that's precious. Yeah,
like, that is nice.
I'm like, dang, I'm taking away your skin.
I know, but also,
but I'm like, it's me.
And then the argument before is like, Well, back then it's like, you're not going to have your band forever. What are you going to do after the band? You're not going to be able to get a job. But now everybody has tats.
Oh, yeah.
Dudes at Trader Joe's, my FedEx guys, the next, like, everybody
doctors,
has
bro.
Doctors, too.
Pastors, priests, everybody.
So I thank those TV shows for that. All that stuff, the mainstream TV shows. But there was a time where, like, it's a job stopper and all that stuff. But, like.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember working even in corporate stuff after landscaping and, not going past the sleeve because it was that mentality. Like I can't get a real job. So I never went past the sleeve. And then I remember when I finally did, but I was covered up by long sleeves. So I was like, okay, I won't go past my wrist. It was just that mentality. And the moment we went full-time touring was like, I don't care anymore. And then I think that's when I started even growing my locks. It was like,
what was the last real job you had?
The last real job, we did landscaping for years, and then my cousin and I got a job over at Hotel Del in San Diego.
Okay.
And
like, how old were you? Like you had a boss.
We were 22, 23.
Wow.
But because I had an uncle that worked there, they got us into the audio visual. We were quote unquote audio visual technicians with not an ounce of experience. Okay. But because they worked for I think it was like the resource department and stuff, we pretty much went in there and they fronted and faked it. And so, we learned as we went. And it was just at that time, it wasn't like today, but you go record meetings, you set up projectors, all that stuff, sound equipment. We were familiar with that stuff.
Yeah.
So we did the job, but we showed up with a suit, a collar, tie.
Yeah.
And for that's when I actually cut my hair and I was okay, I'll be presentable. And then, and we had a killer job, right? Yeah. We're working at Hotel Del, work on the beach. This is amazing. And then, but we were touring at the same time, like during the summers and off time.
Yeah.
All of us worked and we would tour during the summers. And then, when finally, we had some demos out, I think we had an independent record out. We were able to get shows all year long.
Yeah.
And that's when we finally we sat down and we were like, dude, are we doing this or not?
Like, I love that. You sit down about
it wasn't, we don't have the Hollywood story. Like, we all moved and 20 of us lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Hollywood. Yeah. It was like, no, we worked, all of us worked. And it was like, something was happening. We're like, we believe something's happening, right? We had been on a couple summer tours, from bands that, we went into different states and stuff. And at that time it was like, I think we can do it. So we all quit our jobs. We got a van and we had our van and trailer. We survived off of merch.
It's amazing, man.
I mean, if we didn't sell merch, we knew we're not going to have enough gas money to get to the next one.
We never counted on record sales back then. It was just merch.
There was we didn't even have distribution. We sold our tapes and our merch at the show.
Wow.
And it was the kids that came out. And dude, we slept in truck parking lots. Because we couldn't spend money on a hotel.
Yeah.
We would take we would get one freaking room at freaking Flying J. Take a shower and then let the other fool come in and sneak, or we'd all go in at once. We would just shower real quick.
And then you go to hotels maybe and you're all sharing one room and then
if you did.
But then when you go to the bus, bro, it's life changing.
Oh, it's life changing. But see, we didn't have that until that was like that was way down the line, but
it's still such a moment to get your own bus.
Even now when you get it, you like even to this day, you get in your bus and we'll all look at each other and we're like, this is cool, man.
It's so sick.
It's just, it's still, we're not those guys like, oh, my bus. And, we're like, dude, I got my own place to.
Yeah, your bunk.
Yeah.
And sleep's so important on tour, especially being a singer.
It's so important.
Your voice, all that stuff.
It's a must. So, we're down to earth guys, dude. We don't take any of that stuff for granted. You know what I mean? But, so that's.
Do you do vocal warm-ups too?
Yeah. Actually, I think one of the first times I saw you guys were on the.
Screaming in Zen?
Yes. That was my first.
Shout out to Melissa Cross, man.
Yeah. I'm still looking for because they need to do something on a download because I need it on my phone.
I'll ask her.
All I have is the CD.
She listens to the pod. I'm going to give her a shout.
Oh, dude.
Melissa, we love you. So we're going to get Sonny one of your downloads somehow,
bro,
man.
Yeah. So I can have on my phone. I had it on my old school iPod and this last tour, and that's what I used. It was my go-to on my iPod. And this last tour, I left it at a club in Germany.
Screaming in Zen.
And that was and even since then, because I think I lost the disc, I haven't been able to do Melissa's.
Okay.
Because it was on my iPod and my iPod only.
Wow. Yeah, we need a download for sure.
I need a download so I can.
2022.
Yeah. Because I don't think it exists, bro. I looked for it.
Okay. Yeah, we got to find that.
So wherever I'm at, I can just, on my phone, boom, I can do it. But that saved my life. The first time I I think it was with Howard Benson, where he sent me to a nose guy or a doctor. And I was like, bro, I've been in this band for 8 years now. I've never done a warm-up. I've never done anything. And even then, I didn't even
blew your voice? Your voice was hoarse or nothing?
I mean, but that was part of the thing. If you're a horse, you're a horse. You give the mic to the crowd if you're a horse.
Exactly.
It wasn't until...
We're lucky we could do that, yeah.
It wasn't even until into the satellite record when I realized, dude, I can't sing these parts unless... So then I started to warm up.
You know? High, too.
Oh, yeah. And I never sang like that. It was always just more screaming and rapping. You don't got to warm up for screaming. To me... Nah. And if it never...
That kind of is your warm-up, yeah.
It is your warm-up. You callus your throat and it goes through.
That shit's high.
Oh, no, that's real high. Even to this day, now we have guys that back it up.
Okay,
and I still let the crowd do it.
I got my guys in my band. Rusty's always doing the back. He's beautiful voice, so they got me on that.
They got it, and you jump in whenever you want.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I went to the doctor with Howard Benson.
Yeah.
And he sent me to this place, and here I am in Hollywood in this place. I've never been there. I got insurance.
Yeah.
And the doctor checks it out, and he's like, "Do you do warm-ups?" And I'm like, "No." And he was like a music doctor, and he was like, that's the first time when he said, you need to start doing these kind of warm-ups. And even Howard would send me to a guy here in the Valley, and I would do it before I would do vocal or record.
Yeah. And
it was foreign to me, but I remember the first time the doctor, he's checking out my nose and everything, and then he pinches one nostril, and he says, now breathe in. I breathe in fine. Then he pinches the other nostril. He says, breathe in. I'm like, I couldn't.
Wow.
I had no idea that I was only breathing out of one side.
Wow.
Because I had a deviated septum.
Okay, yeah.
And it's just from whatever. It could have been fight, could have been
anything, yeah.
So for years I didn't go because we were touring our butts off. I never had the surgery. And then it wasn't until I think it was way after Satellite that we had some downtime, and I finally went and got it done.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You felt the difference? It was
immediately. You can breathe, you feel like, the hum in your face. And I learned all this stuff from watching the video from Melissa Cross. Yeah.
So, real quick. So after you cut your dreads off and you guys aren't touring, now you're just home. You're just doing dad shit. Just back, no music, nothing. You're chilling.
Yeah.
Just real life.
Yeah.
Just back with the family because you've probably been away from them for so long. Did they come out on the tour too? Try to come out.
My oldest, she, they all grew up on we were grinding back then. So it was like they'd fly out to do certain things.
Yeah.
When Korn took us on in 2000. My daughter was 6 weeks old, and there was no way I was going to leave.
Nah, man.
So, dude, my wife and my daughter actually came on that. And at that time, lucky for us, we did have a bus.
Yeah.
So it was like, we can make this happen. Yet I still lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. You know what I mean?
Wow, man.
Yeah. So she was able to come, but I have pictures of her, and me and my wife to this day were like, I can't believe we took her. She was so young. But we, it was our first time, and we weren't going to miss the opportunity. Man. We're living life. You know what I mean?
That's like part of the journey of having kids too. It's like, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And so I see you doing the Whosoever. So what is that? That's like a community outreach kind of thing you're doing?
Yeah, it started actually when I had taken some time from P.O.D, it was like me just kind of rediscovering my faith, and I had learned so much at this point, like if anything, mostly what I don't want to be from Christian groups, because we got, bro, when I said the sinner's prayer and I thought I was becoming this Christian that I think this is what I'm supposed to do. If anything, I got more slap back from Christians, like, well, your tattoos are ungodly, the music is ungodly.
So they were judging you.
Oh yeah, bro.
Wow,
bro. The first time we did a huge festival, we were flying in somewhere, and Marilyn Manson was headlining the festival. And at this time, he was the devil himself at this time, So as we're driving up, we see all these picketers, and we're like, man, it really does exist. All these crazy Christians are out here picketing Manson. And the closer we get, it was P.O.D.
Wow.
There was actually Christian groups that were picketing P.O.D. and saying we're wolves in sheep's clothing, all this stuff. And we're like, what the heck is going on? But we were already used to it. We were used to it. That's I think why we were like, dude, we just want to make music for everybody.
Yeah. What I don't understand is this may be a dumb question, but you can answer. Like, so if there's there's God and there's Christianity, and you guys all believe in God, and it's every type of person. God doesn't care if you have tattoos or not. God doesn't care how we look because He loves and accepts all of us equally. Correct?
Yes.
So but then there's sectors of the Christianity. They're
exactly.
Like, you have tattoos, or you play that kind of music.
Oh yeah, your hair is long. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Crazy.
But see, to me, that's
in the eyes of God. God's like, yo, what are you doing down there? That's not cool because I love everybody equally.
Yes. But to me, that's why I'm not religious. To me, that is religion. Religion is to me, religion is man-made.
Okay.
You are creating, your rules, your boundaries, your what I should do and what I can't do. Now, to me, I do believe that the Bible and the Torah, like this is the word of God. So I'm trying to stick to my convictions of this. And I get, but people, it's to me, it's this simple. Like before Jesus was crucified and he was with his boys, even those guys didn't know what was going to happen. They didn't quite understand even who this Jesus cat was, But as they broke bread with them, and he knew that he was going to be crucified, and after they seen Jesus do all these things and be who he was, he said, it's almost like he knew, you knuckleheads you're not going to remember that I fed the thousands, that I walked on water, that I did all this, that I performed these miracles. You don't even get it. That's how whack you guys are, right? You're so crazy. You see me do these things, you don't even quite believe it yourself.
Yeah.
And he said, it's almost like if Jesus said, well, if you can remember one thing, because you knuckleheads are going to forget all the things that we've been through and what we've done. If you can remember one thing, and that's what he said, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love each other like you love yourself. Now, if we can love each other like you love number one over here, we might be in a better place. 100%. To me, that's not religion. That's like, it's religion that has caused the wars. Well, I'm right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's what's caused the wars. But if we do what Jesus said, just love God and love each other. If don't, everything else will work itself out.
Yeah.
All your squabbles, whatever, just give it to God.
Yeah.
So if I'm tattooed, I give it to God.
Yeah.
If I, whatever your convictions are good.
Yeah.
If anything, to me, I have more respect for you than most self-proclaimed, self-righteous Christians, because you're sticking to your convictions, and that's just what it's about.
Yeah, thank you.
You're not even titling it, it's not. You're not even, and you're loving people regardless.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the problem with even me, what I have a problem with Christianity is there's a lot of these rules, do this, do that, but you're doing it as well, but you're just hiding it a lot. But I also believe that's what Jesus did with the religious people. Was that you guys are playing the part really well, but inside your heart is dirty.
Yeah.
And I think religion does that to this day. There's a front of righteousness and of I'm holy or I'm better than you or follow these rules.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, we're all dudes. We all mess up. We make mistakes.
We're not perfect. Yeah.
There has to be grace for that, and that's where in my faith in believing in Jesus is that there is grace.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you a get out of jail card to just keep doing it. Like, to me, then that becomes cheap grace. If I know I'm doing something wrong and I know, well, I believe God forgives me, but I keep doing it knowing that God forgives me, it becomes dirty.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I have to be able to change and be like, dang.
Yeah. I'm
not going to do this because, first of all, it's not right and it hurts people and it hurts me. Yeah. So why would I want to do it? Common sense. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to do it.
True.
But if you keep doing it, it's a dumb problem.
No, for sure. Do you have any do you have major regrets in your life? Any regrets?
One of my major regrets is when we split up with our guitar player, because people come in and then it's all he said, she said, and then at that point we were becoming, whatever, we were having success. So
managers and lawyers, all kinds.
Yeah. Now we're not just a band anymore, bro. We have lawyers. We're a corporation. We have a businessman. All this crap, and then all of a sudden it's like Why couldn't we just talked it out?
It's a business at that point.
And not only that, we were becoming quote unquote rock stars, so we were starting to get, on both sides. I could say we all were getting a little prideful and so
egos,
ego. So like, well, dude, you're being a jerk, and it's like, But now the older you get, you're like, bro, we could still get into fights and stuff, but like, we can also sit there and be like, let's talk about it, dude.
100%. Back then you couldn't.
Yeah. You have to. That to me, that's a two-way street relationship, But if you want to continue to just be a jerk and do your thing and not meet me halfway, then there's a problem. But
it's cool he came back though too.
Oh yeah. And I always give him the credit because that's after like Dimebag was killed and all this stuff where we had even gone through lawsuits together because then he wanted some of the money that we got, so we had to do all these things and it got ugly. But after a couple years, I'll never forget. He called me up and he was just like, dude, I miss you guys. It was that simple. And it was like, the more I think about all we've been through and all we've done, and for us to let this crap get in the way. Yeah. So big up to Margos. He was he was humble enough to be like, dude, I don't care anymore. I just want to. It wasn't even about music. He wasn't even like, I want to jam. It wasn't none of that. It was like, I just want to. Can I take you guys out for coffee?
That's cool, man.
It was like, let's go get some coffee. Dude.
That's amazing.
Because we were mad at each other for some years, you know.
Yeah, you didn't talk for several years, right?
No.
Wow.
And even during those 2 records, I think I was so pissed that he wasn't there, you know, or in my mind, oh, you quit, you left us.
We're gonna prove him wrong. We're gonna kill it without him.
Or that kind of mentality. Yeah. Even when you guys came out and Jason was with us, even that, you know, I never stopped being a man of faith, but even that, I was just like, I was kind of pissed. I was like, I'm gonna kind of do my own thing right now, you know, because I was upset. Mm-hmm. We've gone through all this stuff, and now this stuff's happening to our band. You know, and so I got loose with a lot of things. You know what I mean? Where a lot of stuff I would be mindful and watch out. But at that point, I was kind of like, that's kind of numb in a way. Yeah. Where it was like before, I'm very mindful.
Tour we did with you guys, you mean that year, 2004?
Yeah.
You
know, because even like now, I'm very mindful. Like, dude, if I have a beer, like I'm very mindful of who's around me, just because. Yeah. You know, like if I'm hanging with you, I'm not gonna drink a beer because I care about what you think.
Yeah.
Right.
But I wouldn't care though.
I know. But if I'm with a sober guy who I know is like fighting everything he can.
True.
I'll never, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm very mindful of that. And not only that, I also mindful of self-righteous holy people that say, oh, you can't be a Christian, love Jesus, and then have a beer.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, dang it, you know.
Everybody has like their own rules for the one guy. It's so interesting to me because everybody has different things. Like some people don't like gay marriage. Some people, like I see all these things are religious people, but yo, what about the guy upstairs that you're trying to say made these rules when he loves everyone equally? It's not like, I mean, that's what I feel or I see. You know what I'm saying?
I believe there's different people.
Like, my God told me you can do this. Well, how about thou shalt not kill? How about all these different things? You know what I'm saying?
It's the God. Well, see, that's what bro. That's what Jesus did. It's like, oh, if you say, thou shalt not kill, but Jesus said, but you look at your brother and you hate him. It's the same thing. Yeah. You have murder in your heart. It's the same thing. You might not have done it. Yeah. But it's the same thing. If you murdered someone in your heart, sin is sin. Yeah. And that's why I believe in the grace of God. But for me, I want to love people and I want to get to know people. Like I would rather sit with, you know, a gay couple, a Muslim couple, you know, whatever, whatever. And just break bread. Like, let's drink some liquid death and hang out. And
conversations.
I really want to know where your heart, mind, and soul is.
Yeah.
But dude, when you said that, you got to watch that movie, The Shack.
The Shack?
Yeah. Okay. Watch it. It's just the same thing where God is saying, that's all my children. Like, then you choose. I can't choose. These are all my kids. I love everybody the same. Yeah. And everybody has different struggles. Everybody goes through different battles. But you want me to send somebody to hell? One goes to hell and one doesn't? Mm-hmm. God is saying, I love you equally. Yeah. Like, so if you look at it from a father's perspective, if that was my kids, you look at it from a different perspective where you're like, no, that's my son. That's my daughter. Yeah. You know?
Are your kids religious as well?
You keep saying religious.
I'm sorry. No. Do you guys do they go? You guys go? Yeah.
We go to church. We read the Bible, but I also leave it up to my kids.
Yeah.
I want them to have their own, faith. I want them to have their own convictions, which they do. But dude, my daughter's gonna be 22. My kids are growing up in the real world. They've grown up in rock and roll for their whole life. I mean, I've guarded their hearts and minds. My wife and I, obviously I just don't go hang with this band. They're over there, snorting coke and banging chicks. Go to Uncle So-and-so and hang out. I'm going to be like, you guys do your things. I'm going to take my kids out of here. But they were doing them and I was doing me, which is be a daddy. Yeah. So, and it rubs out, either way. So, totally. So my kids are they're not shocked by the world. They're not. Yeah. But so that's why it balances out perfect where they're like, they understand God's love. They understand that, they believe in they believe in God, but we have freedom to live in this crazy world and not get caught up in it. Mm-hmm. And so really that's kind of what our faith is like, I'm not I'm not a slave to this world. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that traps us, but I don't have to be, Yeah. And then again, it just comes with conviction and that we just, but we love everybody. We walk this life. Yeah. Try to understand, be compassionate, be empathetic. Yeah. But there's also things that I do believe that are like, I'll never die on that hill or condemn anybody, but I also believe that there is an order of things, you know what I mean? And I try to live my life to a certain order.
No, I love that, man.
But I'm not here to, beat anybody over the head with it.
Yeah.
It's like I think religion has done that too much too often, whereas like I would rather be a friend to anybody, and then if my faith and my own convictions mean anything that you see, then maybe you might check it out.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to
say... Lead by example, too, yeah.
Lead by example.
Life. Yeah.
That's it.
No, I love that, man.
That's it.
And one of my questions, are you an optimist or pessimist? But you're totally an optimist. See that, bro. I know that already. Like, you've always been that way, huh? Always positive, yeah.
Yeah, always, dude.
Always see the good, always do all that stuff, right? Yeah.
Bro, I believe in the good. I mean, but I see the evil. Trust me, I see the evil, but I believe in the good. Like,
sometimes I would see the good in people that my friends be like, that guy's not really... That guy's a piece of whatever, and I'd be like, I see the good in him. I don't know why. I'm always like that's a good and bad thing about me that I do. I want to see good in everybody. I want to think everybody's good. You know?
I think it's.
I know there's bad. I know there's crazy things.
No, and I think it's all there. And I think it's there because I believe there's a innocence of us all that was meant for good. But we live in a crazy world that just darkens and corrupts. But
I know.
But there's also, I mean, I see good in people, and I know, like, dude, that guy's a good dude. Right now I don't really care for him because he's going through he's going and he's not the nicest, or he keeps screwing you over or whatever, but you're like, and I know people like that where it's like I just keep my distance. I don't stop loving, I don't stop forgiving, but I'm also, as a common sense, or even as just common sense, you're just like, I probably shouldn't kick it with you right now because you're in a bad place, and but I'm here for you.
I'll help you,
and I'll help you. But I'm not gonna let you keep, dumping on me or whatever, or project on me when you're going through your own stuff. You got to figure it out. But I'm here. I'll always be here.
Yeah.
I have more relationships like that with people where it's like, I don't see you, or dude, I don't even agree with your lifestyle, but at least I'm always here.
Yeah.
But don't take it personal if I'm not kicking it with you. You know what I mean? Because I am a husband and a daddy.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you're human.
And I'm human. Yeah, dude. I don't want to hang. Yeah, I might, and I can get caught up just like you. So don't take it personal if I'm not hanging out with you. You know what I mean?
So the last record was Circles in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were touring on that because that was before the pandemic. That's right.
Yeah, dude, we toured Europe twice. We've never been to Europe that many times.
Oh wow.
So we were shocked. We went to Europe early in the year, and the response. Man. Oh yeah, bro. The response was insane. And we hadn't toured Europe, headline toured in probably 15, 16 years.
Wow.
We kind of neglected, and when we went through all the stuff in the States, we kind of neglected it.
You're focusing on here, America.
Yeah,
first.
Just trying to figure out, and the label drama. But we had gone back for we did a tour with Hell Yeah, rest in peace, Vinnie Paul. We went to
Vinnie Paul.
Yeah, we went with Hell Yeah. They took us. We did a UK run with like Alien Out Farm, Hoobastank, and they were all it was all great, man. But when we went back on our own, it was like, let's see how it would do. And we did all the smaller clubs that we did, anywhere from the 700s to the 1500s.
Yeah. And
dude, it did more than well, and majority of it sold out, and we were like, this is crazy. Man. So it went so well that we did a second leg end of the year, and it just was killer.
Wow.
So we had this momentum.
And
then when the pandemic hit, it was like, no,
dude.
So now we're just dying to go
was
back.
20 years old, and it just was 20 years old.
Yeah,
2 years. Wait, 20
last year.
Yeah, last year.
So that was the whole. We were able to do a 2-month run at the end of the year, but we had planned on touring the whole year overseas on that anniversary. So I think even when we go, we might if Europe opens up soon, or Brazil,
still do that tour. Yeah,
we still might.
Yeah, man.
Because it was special, but
it is special.
But we're talking, like, we're just waiting for, as soon as we get the okay, like, oh dude, now you can tour Europe, or you could tour South America, like, we're in, dude.
Do you remember going on stage the first time since the pandemic? How that felt? Because it's been a minute, right?
The first time.
Well, because you guys stopped in 2018, and then that tour was 2018, right?
No, 2019. Our last show was actually New Year's Day in El Paso, New Year's gig into 2020.
Oh, wow.
And then we had like a couple months off because we were like, dude, we're going to take a couple months off. We've been touring our butts off. And then all of a sudden, come February, they're like,
wrap, dude.
And we had tours lined up. We had a Europe tour, like everything.
It's 2 years right now, almost.
It's been 2 years.
Wow,
then they were like,
man.
we're shutting down. I was like, ooh, okay.
Only 2 weeks, and then only 3 weeks, and then 4 weeks. I was like, oh my god.
So
it felt like a movie, man, when it kicked off, man.
I was stoked at first. I was like, dude, I get to be home. I'm cool. But then a couple months kick in, you're like, how do I make money now?
Yeah.
And if I'm lying, I'm actually, if I'm telling the truth, I'm like, I always complain when I'm on the road, like I want to go home.
I know.
And now when I'm home, I'm like, it's just who you are.
I loved being a crappy backstage in Germany at a festival, eating some cold ass catering. Actually, I'm not going to say that because Europe's got banging catering.
Oh yeah, no,
they take care of you over there,
bro.
But it is that thing where like you're on tour, you're leaving for tour, you're saying goodbye, you go in the airport, security, passport, waiting for your flight. You're like so close to your family still. Then you get on the flight. Once you get there and get into your mode with your brothers and playing shows, then it's beautiful. You have FaceTime, but leaving's the worst.
It's hard.
I miss it so much. But then when you're home for 2 years, like, and that's another thing. Luckily, we have great wives because this is probably the longest they've been home with us in years.
Oh yeah, they're probably like, I can't wait for you to go back on tour.
That's what I'm saying. Like my wife's like, the reason why our marriage lasted this long
because you were gone all the time.
But then it really tests your marriage and your love and all that instability when you're stuck home. All of a sudden, what, you're not on tour?
Yeah, true. I mean, and it's not even a negative or bad thing. We just that's just how a routine. Like and you go away. I go away. My wife misses me to death, or I go away. I miss her to death. Now we're together. It's like it's just the routine was like we just miss each other all the time. So when we get together, it's always super special. Now I'm becoming annoying to everybody.
Yeah, me too. Now it's like they can't wait for me to go on tour. I just hope it opens up soon. I'm seeing all kinds of things now. It looks pretty good over Europe, man. I really want to go there.
Heck yeah.
Go back on tour. It's so weird that when that stops, like that's your life. You're playing music and sweating and singing and the crowd singing, all that. We've
been doing it so long.
I know,
and then it's gone. It does take a part of you.
Yeah, it's just like it's something, and then you're like, what is my purpose? Like, what am I? I'm lucky I started this podcast before the pandemic, and I had a bunch of banked episodes. But like, I miss touring so much. That's my life, and it's like it's something in your heart that's missing. So when we got to play a couple shows, I think this year was our first shows back. It was just like, oh my god, this is unreal. Right. Like that feeling, right? When you go on stage again. Yeah, even though it's kind of weird too.
No, it is. Yeah. We didn't do shows. It was a year almost. Yeah, it was probably 15 months, but then we did a live stream.
Yeah,
so we did that, and that was strange just because there was nobody in the audience.
No, I mean you have to go off. And
so it was kind of weird, but we just kind of treated it as like a video, or something.
Recording a band practice or something.
Yeah. And then we were able to do like a few days later. There was a private party for Harley Davidson in San Diego, which was where our practice studio is.
Okay.
So we did something for like some Bell helmets or something, and it was only like 40 people maybe, but we had a blast.
I know, man.
And then after that, we did a tour in August, and it took a while because I swear I put on like 20 pounds during COVID, bro.
They call it COVID-19 pounds.
The COVID-19 pounds, yeah. Straight up.
So you don't work out? You're not a workout guy?
No, I try. I mean, I try to get my cardio in and stuff like that. But
cardio is important. You forget about that when you go back on tour, though.
That's
we're like moving around so much on stage.
But dude,
bro.
And so I definitely felt it the first week. But then, once it kicks in, I was like, and then by the end of the tour, I was like, oh, dude, I feel great.
Yeah.
But it is just during COVID too. It was like that was the comfort thing. Like we're locked in, we were like, what do we do? Let's make some food.
Try to stay creative and everything. Yeah, make food. Everybody's making bread, all kinds of stuff during that. I forget the main thing people were making. It's like banana bread was like the big trend.
Oh yeah.
But like then you're home and it's like,
yeah,
it's crazy, man.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we get on tour in the next couple months. So even now I'm like, okay, I'm really trying to get into yoga just for stretching, bro, because every time I do it, I'm like, oh man, I feel good just stretching. But the older we get, like, dude, everything's so tight. And
we gotta stay. Like, I mean, if we're gonna continue doing what we love and just trying to stay young, we have to.
I have to. I'm throwing out stuff now. I mean, it's been that for a few years now. But my shoulder will go out, my knees. I'm like, dude, I'm really that old guy now. That's
it's like it's something really wrong. This is just part of us like falling apart at this age. I don't know.
We're just falling apart. So we got to do everything we can to,
mentally and physically.
Yeah. And I love it, man. I this last tour was awesome, and I don't know. Like you said, it's part of who you are, and
I know.
I love moving around on stage.
Is there something that like being on the lockdown taught you or changed in you, like how you see the world or how you're moving forward in the world? Or something you learned about yourself? Because everything kind of gets the rug kind of got pulled under musicians for sure. Like a halt. I don't know. It's weird.
I think if anything, I just soaked up more. It was a lot of makeup time, even my kids. I mean, they were all doing online school and stuff. So just to be able there, just to and I would do my own stuff, with music and stuff. Yeah. But knowing that my kids are right there and doing their work, and then I could make lunch for them, breakfast, or my wife and I were there. She wasn't having to do it by herself, and just being there was awesome. But I didn't go down the rabbit hole because are we ever going to tour again? Like, is the world going to open up? Because my finances are depleting. All this stuff. There's a scripture that just says, "Be still and know that I am God." So in that moment, that's why I didn't get caught up in the rat race. I was just like, God, I'm just gonna. It's not like this is all going on without you knowing. Yeah. If I'm a believer in faith, and I have to believe that, dude, God, it doesn't seem like you're in control right now because the world is crazy. I could be honest.
Or you're putting us on a timeout.
Yeah. So it was just like, all right, you know what? Ain't nothing's gonna happen. That's gonna, I just have to not worry. Yeah. It was definitely a time of I saw people stressing and anxiety and then depression
about things we have no control over.
Yes. And so I was doing my hardest. I was really kind of sitting on that scripture that just said, "Be still." Yeah. So I tried my best to and then people would send me stuff, even when the political stuff with the voting and all my friends went down, and I'm like, delete. I'm like, I can't even go down. It's because, I don't want to be anxious, man. I don't want to get scared. I don't want to,
stress even worry. It's a big killer, man, too, man.
It's and we've seen that in the last 2 years. Just even the suicide rate in young kids alone, bro.
It's insane, bro.
Depression it's always been around, but it was so surface level. Now it's like it's the forefront of everything because it's really mental health is huge right now.
And kids can't be social with their friends, and going to school is so important for that, and meeting people and talking and different cultures, just everything. Like,
it's hard enough for us as adults, let alone our kids. Like, I can't see my friends. I can't.
I know, man. Like, my son graduated online. He was super bummed. He wanted to go and do all that stuff. And I can imagine younger kids too. Like, they're just learning their social skills and trying to talk to people. Oh yeah. It's like, dude, I just don't know. I know it's gonna get back. It's just 2 years went by pretty fast too. It's kind of scary in a sense too, because
it is scary.
It was gonna be 2 weeks. Now it's been 2 years. Yeah. I kept saying 2 more weeks. I'm like, it's crazy, man.
We're still learning the effects, the mental effects of young people. It's hard enough, for, like I said, for us as adults. That our kids are still kind of doing it, And like we talked about earlier with social media and all that stuff, man, that stuff don't help, man.
Nah, man.
Have you seen that documentary, Social Dilemma?
Woo!
Bro.
Brutal, man.
Eye opener.
Man, I checked my time out on my phone after that. How much hours you spent?
I got no notifications. I'm like, dude, people they're manipulating our stuff. But I know, the one part that got me was because I have 2 girls. Yeah, was about the young girl where it was saying how the suicide rate and depression in young girls is so far up because they post a picture and you can have a million people say, "Oh, dude, you're so cool. You're the best. You're so beautiful," and then it's the one person out of a million that says, "You're fat. You're ugly."
Ruins your whole day.
All you focus on is that. And that's
I know, man.
That's too much pressure, man.
It is.
Too much pressure for our kids,
Do you read comments and stuff like that and check out things?
I do. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, luckily I don't, you get some people.
You let things bother you sometimes or no?
Sometimes I'll just delete it or even there's times, and you know what? Even for my just sanity, I'll type it out. And then I'll delete it.
Like a response, and then you type it out. Yeah,
I've done it before. Because I've been there where I've even, I'm like, hey, homie, okay, well, I don't know your schedule, but you know my schedule, and I don't know whatever town you live in. Yeah. You can come talk to me whenever I'm in your town at your rock show. Yeah. And if you got something to say, please say it. And I've even challenged people like, dude, and then you realize that's not the right thing either, But that's me reacting.
You get caught up, yeah.
That's me reacting because you're just a freaking computer gangster who, and then I'll look at their profile. I'm like, you got 0 posts. I know. And then I'll look at your stuff and all you're doing, and then I'll go and find, and all you're doing is you'll be on anybody just talking trash.
I know, man.
But then I've looked at like Justin Bieber, like I've looked at all these people stuff. It's like they got hundreds of millions of followers, and you look at it, and most of it is trash talking. I'm like,
I know, man.
So there's just
people that do
whack
that.
people that
or they're bots, whatever they are. But
yeah.
people that spend time on the day just talking crap to people.
Yeah, you're whack.
I can't believe it. When they have the energy or the time. Time is so fragile on this planet.
Yeah.
You spend it like talking crap to strangers.
Yeah.
And then if you respond to something like, oh my God, I can't believe you responded. I'm a fan. Oh my God, I was just kidding.
I was just kidding. I've heard that too.
Oh my God.
I didn't mean to offend you. I'm like, then why would you say that?
You ever block anybody?
Oh yeah.
It's amazing, bro.
But yeah, but I think it is amazing. But I also think that there's crazy people out there. Oh, well, I know there's crazy people out there. And you can tell when they write stuff, you're like, oh, you're not playing with a full deck.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I have to block you.
100%. Yeah, you have to go bye-bye, yeah.
There's some crazy people out there too.
It's so true, man.
And they don't know that they're crazy. Like, dude, and everybody else is reading your comment and it's gibberish. You're not even making sense. And then I'll go, again, I'll take whatever few moments to FBI the situation and go look. And I'm like, oh yeah, this person's
But then
crazy.
you're taking time out of your day
which is
to look at their stuff. And then they got you. And that's how they get you.
Yeah.
If you're even taking the time to respond, that's what they want. You know what I mean?
It's hard enough to reply to the great comments than on the bad comments. So, and again, being family guys, we're like, dude, I'm not.
I know, man.
I don't even check, bro. I mean, only because Instagram goes to Facebook, but like, I don't even look at that stuff. And I never go to Facebook. I don't because I will spend all day. I even feel bad. Like, I'll come back and be like, sorry, I didn't say Merry Christmas on Christmas, but it's like, the truth is I'm spending with my family.
Yeah, it's like, who you say Merry Christmas?
But you feel like you have to go back.
I know, man. You feel like this. You do feel an obligation, though.
Here's a late Merry Christmas, but here's a late Happy New Year. 1 week into January.
I know,
Happy late New Year's, but it's like you feel like you're obligated.
I know you're not, though.
But it's like,
crazy, dude.
Bro, I'm just trying to spend time with my family. That's
all. So one more thing, the Hazen Street tour we did with you was amazing. I think it was 2004. I forgot who else was on that tour. I know we with.
It was I think it was Lacuna Coil and Blindside.
Okay, then us, yeah.
Lacuna Coil's done they're still doing it.
Yeah, killing it. That was a fun tour though. That was a really great tour for us. I forgot how long it was for, but that was super fun. Man.
Yeah. It was
so
great.
fun. Like, I don't even know how we got on that tour, but it was just. That was when we really met you guys. You know what I mean? It was awesome. Yeah.
Well, I remember just I knew you guys were all from different bands, and then
and
then your boy, the drummy
Mackie from Bad Brains, Chromags.
Yep, that's right.
One of the best, man.
Yeah, he was a sweetheart too.
Yeah, that was a really fun tour, man.
Yeah, and Hoya, like you feel like I know we haven't all hung out, but you feel like you know him just by following him, and seeing all their stuff And speaking of Bad Brains, with that Shiprock we did,
HR was on there.
I was able to.
I saw the video. You with Randy Lamb of God.
Yeah, so rad.
I love my job. I forgot some of you guys sang, but
yeah, we did. I wanted to do I Love My Job. We did Leaving Babylon.
Okay. Yeah, that was so cool, man. Because Randy hit me up and he said, "Oh, he's coming out here," and he had mentioned he's doing this thing first, and then all of a sudden I saw it, and it was you three on stage. I was wow.
Yeah, Randy's
so cool, man.
We've played many shows at festivals with Lamb of God, and I've never got the chance to really to meet Randy.
Yeah.
Except for like a what up, dude.
Yeah, he's
and
awesome,
dude, sweetest
surfer
heart.
too. Yes, yeah.
So now I got to go pick up his book. Actually, I started following him more when he was going through all this stuff, and I was and I was praying for that fool, dude. I was like,
scary. The documentary is great too, man.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
I'm gonna send it to you. It's
okay.
It's them doing a doc, and all of a sudden that happens during the doc. Then they start following that situation. Yeah,
I remember just
man.
feeling for him, and I was like, dude, because that could be any of us.
Any of us.
That's
after that, anybody came on stage, I was like, don't even touch me, man. I'm gonna put my hands on you, nothing, because everybody's got phones or filming. What could happen? God forbid.
Yeah.
Scary, man. That whole story is gnarly, man. Like, because we've done that before. Like, get on stage.
You push kids not out of anger, just out of part of the.
I know.
I'm gonna help this guy launch right now. That's all.
Or you're trying to sing and somebody jumps on you and stuff like that. I get it, but it's like nowadays it's. Bro, that was really. But also seeing you with HR, I knew you hung with HR before, and he's such a sweetheart, man.
Yeah,
had him on the cast before. He's awesome, man. Yeah. He's a beautiful human, man.
Yeah. And now he's even more childlike than ever before.
I know, man. But I feel like it's a good place. Like, I mean, Lori's his wife's awesome, and she was on here with him too. And
nice.
Yeah, she's really helped him, and that was cool seeing him on that. He's doing solo sets on there.
We got him to come on, and there's a thing called the Stowaways where a bunch of musicians will do covers, and so
you guys got him on that.
We did a Marley song. All the different members from different bands, and
Sick.
I think we did a Marley cover. He did the P.O.D. boys did we did Youth is Getting Restless.
Yes,
because he won't do the heavy stuff anymore.
Nah.
He hasn't been like that for a while. But then Randy, because Randy's close friends, and he was helping with him. we were actually at rehearsals, and Randy was just taking pictures. And since I was doing Leaving Babylon on the P.O.D. set with HR, I told Randy, I said, dude, you do Youth is Getting Restless. And he kind of looked at me like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So he got up and did it, dude.
It's awesome,
and
man.
He killed it, man.
You guys on the stage together was awesome, man.
Oh yeah, to have us all three, I still got that picture. Like, this is sick. And he's just a good dude. His lady Lisa, she's awesome, and
yeah, we
had a good time. We'll have to get you on that cruise, dude.
That's sick, man. Yeah, where do you guys go?
This time went out of Galveston. Normally it's out of Florida, and then it started with like 4 days, 5 days. I think next year's like 6 days.
Wow, okay.
And dude, it's really just it's like going on vacation.
Yeah.
And you're a personal guy, so
yeah,
you're just hanging out with people. Even if they get like you with the Stowaways, they just do covers, and
it's cool, man.
Yeah, I'll talk to them.
So it happens every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was one of the OGs. Now they have like motorboat. They have like the heavier. Now that's the thing for the last like 6-7 years is the cruises.
Okay. They
have the reggae cruises, all bands.
So what's up next for you guys? What's the next thing?
Finishing P.O.D. record.
New record. Okay.
Yep. Finishing all the solo reggae tunes that I started during the pandemic.
Okay, that's awesome.
Wrapping that up.
Is this under your name?
Yeah.
Okay, cool,
Probably be like Sonny Dread, and then
oh, that's cool.
But I actually plan on releasing a single next month, and
and
just gonna waterfall it, doing everything independently, waterfall it, put it out there, and then the goal is to just get the music out, and then in between P.O.D. and stuff, I love touring, playing reggae music,
staying creative. You play guitar too?
Some chords and stuff, but really just having. If you could show me stuff, and I can,
Yeah.
But
I don't learn guitar. I never learned guitar.
I don't sit there like it's not like it's a no brainer. I still gotta if I want to play like a reggae song, I'm still okay. This is a C.
Yeah.
What's a C again?
Yeah, I never actually. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Playing instruments. Never did that.
No, me too. I'm not. Like I said, I didn't plan it. I was just trying to figure out how the heck I was gonna be a front man for a band.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You did it, man.
Oh,
it worked, man. It worked.
I don't know how.
Were your last records all an independent label? Like the last ones?
No.
The Murdered Love and the SoCal Sessions and the Awakening and Circles? Was that the same?
Murdered Love we did, I think, what was that label? I don't even know if they're around anymore, but they had a lot. It was
like a one-off or something?
Heavy band. Yeah. And
cool.
We were just trying to do these one-offs. Like we weren't trying to get caught up in stuff. Yeah. This last one we did with Mascot and, it's
and those are all independents, right?
Pretty much.
That's cool, man.
Pretty much. Then we just have a little bit more control and stuff, but dude, I'm just before again with touring and stuff. It's so we don't know what's gonna be next. So
I know.
It's a gamble to set up a headlining tour. Right now.
It is, man.
So we submitted for I think we submitted for like the Corn tour.
Oh wow. I
think like Alice in Chains or Stone. One of them's going out. We're like, dude, we'll jump on any of those.
That's awesome.
But
that's less pressure too to headline too, because if something happens, it's just the sign of the times. It's not you, and there's no pressure because we did some shows in October that we had booked for 2 years, and there was this weird thing where like some people had tickets and they still didn't come, and there was some refunds and there was some walk-ups. It was so to try to figure it out, because there's some people they want to still support but they aren't comfortable leaving their house. So here, you keep the ticket money, we're not going to show up, and it's like okay, it was really interesting, man.
That's
times.
How we did 2 months. I think we were the only band that survived and completed a full tour without having to quit because of COVID. But the mandates were so crazy. So
every city was different.
Yeah, and it was different. And so we would go and they'd be like, pre-sale. And then you'd get there. And then once they do the math and the walk-up and everything, they're like, dude, 100 people, 200 people that had pre-sale didn't even show up.
Yeah.
So you're like, this is crazy. So at first it was kind of disheartening.
You take it personal, but it's
you took
not.
it personal. And then you realize, it took a couple weeks to get into it. And it was like, you know what? Let's just celebrate with the people.
We are in a pandemic,
Yeah. And some people, like you said, they're just not. I'm not ready to go to an indoor show.
Yeah.
Because the outdoor shows were doing great.
Crushing outdoors. Yeah. Rancid and Dropkick did a 2-leg tour and they smashed it outdoors, man. Like I was like, wow.
That's so sick.
I know. But like, the indoors people, I get it, you're not comfortable. It's still cool. You want to support though. Cool. That was like, and that was New York, our hometown. It was 2 nights it was sold out for 2 years. But then once we got to New York, they started getting some refunds. So neither of them became sold out, but they were both equally greatly packed. Yeah. But they balanced each other. Yep. But I was just like, is it us? And then they feel that's what's happening out there. You know what I mean?
I know.
Do you have a top 5? I know you mentioned Bad Brains as far as one of your faves. Do you have a top 5 artists or musicians that inspired you? I'm curious about your hip hop, because I know you like East Coast and obviously West Coast. You're from out here, but
but when I was obviously you have the Bad Brains, but when when I was young, there were the like obviously KRS-One,
Yes.
But then it started with, for me, like, okay, like Run DMC, but then you got into like the Rakims.
Best. He's my number one.
Rakim is still one of my
out of the top 5. He's number one.
He was here not too long ago, and one of the homies.
I went and saw him.
I was like, I would have drove up for that,
bro.
Rakim, yeah.
I have a great Rakim story. I told on the pod, but I have a tattoo on my head. I got him a couple months ago, and his son DM'd me. I didn't realize it was his son. He had already followed me, and then he said, please video call me. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. I'm 52 years old, whatever. And then I gave my phone number, and then I'll show you after the pod. But all of a sudden, Rakim's on FaceTime with me.
No.
And my head's brand new, and I'm in my office, and it's just like, hey, I want to tell you, love the tattoo. That made my whole day, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Said all this really nice things to me, and I screenshot. I would never post it, but I have it. I'll show you. And I had this moment, Rocky. It was bananas, bro.
Oh my god!
I couldn't believe it. And now, like, I'm in touch with his son. They're gonna send me some old school. Rakim's like, I have a bunch of old gear. I'm gonna say, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And then they were supposed to come to my show in New York.
Yeah.
They never made it. There was mandates and all kinds of stuff, and it didn't happen. But I was like, oh my god, this guy might come to my show.
Yeah.
But Rakim definitely in there for me. Nas, Biggie.
Yep.
Jay-Z. I don't know if I'm so torn at the bottom. Like KRS-One for sure have to be in there too, man.
KRS is he's.
But then after that, it's like Eminem. There's like so many.
Oh yeah, it goes.
Q-Tip.
Oh yeah.
Nobody talks about Q-Tip, man. I love Q-Tip.
Oh
man.
dude, I love this. One of my favorite groups.
Yeah, De La Soul.
De La Soul.
You like Mobb Deep, Gangstar?
Love Gangstar, Mobb Deep. Dude, MOP, the cat from MOP came out to our last show in Long Island.
Oh wow!
And I was like, yeah, get that fool.
Yeah, dude, that's sick. So you seem like heavily, you seem heavily East Coast.
Yeah, well, to me, that's where it started.
What about West Coast for you?
I know we went to the gangster stage, obviously the
Cypress
West Coast
Hill.
stuff. Yeah, obviously, but when they had like stuff like Farside, when they were, because to me, I never saw like Cypress of them as, or even like NWA for that matter. I never saw it as like hip hop in the sense of East Coast hip hop. I just thought it was to me, it was gangster rap.
Yeah.
I didn't, and I don't know I'm wrong in saying this.
Yeah.
To me, it wasn't hip hop. When I listened to hip hop, it was Rakim, it was Boogie Down Production, it was, it was all the East Coast stuff. West Coast had kind of its own thing, and even when Snoop Dogg and all that came, I just saw it as gangster rap, and I'm probably wrong for
Ice Cube
categorizing it. Yeah, Ice Cube for sure. But when you had like Farside, to me that was more stuff like hip hop. Who else is from the West? I think the Boogie Monster.
Too Short.
See, to me, it's still kind of gangster. Still gangster. And I still love Too Short.
I know. Digital Underground, Cypress.
Well, Digital. I think
House of Pain. That's out here too.
No, Boston. House of Pain was Boston.
No, it's LA.
Really?
It's LA, bro. It's my boys. Yeah.
I thought he was.
No, it's not.
I thought
man.
Digital was from Florida, but Tupac used to kick it out there.
Yeah. So House of Pain, they have roots on the East Coast, but they're Cali.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
man.
no, but I remember when Soul. I was a huge Soul Assassins.
Yeah.
So when all that stuff came out, it was cool. It was, yeah. But I still saw it as like as a
East. Yeah, House of Pain, very East Coast vibe.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But Cypress and all them and all the gangster rap.
Booyah Tribe.
Oh, I love Booyah. Yeah, we're homies with they allowed us into their.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's on. They're
legit, man.
Yeah, Gangsta Rid is on and they're all on the Testify record.
Okay, that's right. They were on there. Yeah. Ice-T's old stuff.
Old still, yeah.
There's so much. I mean, trying to think what
6 in the morning. He's at my door.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some more West Coast stuff that was like, because the whole native tongues thing, that's East Coast, man.
Mm-hmm,
Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, KMD.
You know what? I just
there was somebody
Third
else.
Base.
Third Base, East Coast. Woo!
Yeah.
I got to see them a couple times. Amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Loved. Yeah, so it's cool. You grew up in it.
Yeah, just because it was, to me, that was hip hop.
Step into the AM. Cactus album's incredible. Man.
Yeah.
There's so much hip hop, but yeah, East Coast. Obviously, I grew up there. I love. I get to see that, but there was West Coast stuff I always was intrigued by, like watching all those movies, even like watching Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, and the whole thing from New York. Outlook looking at it was interesting. Seeing all the MC8,
yeah.
Who on the soundtrack.
DJ Quick.
But
to me, that was us as kids.
The DOC.
Oh, I love the DOC, the formula.
Yeah.
It's getting funky. It's getting funky. I always wanted to cover that.
That's sick too. And then out here, I love Kendrick Lamar as like a newer artist. All the new stuff.
Yeah,
incredible, man.
Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole.
Like
to me,
those are the two lyricists and.
Yeah, I like Logic. I like Logic.
Oh yeah, Logic. Yeah, he's good too. So is there a new hip hop you're listening to that's not from your kids? that you're listening to on your own?
Those cats, I'm trying to think of
J.
who
Cole,
else
Kendrick for sure.
Yeah.
I'm psyched for the halftime this weekend with Kendrick.
Oh yeah. All that stuff's gonna be sick. I mean, I can't. There's stuff that my kids listen to that
Travis Scott, my son loves him.
Yeah, I mean, it's catchy, dude.
It's catchy.
But when I'm thinking of like when you think of a Rakim or like lyricists, I'm like, they're not that quality, but I get the hook. It's
poppy.
It's poppy, but to me, it's
hip-hop,
not like
kind of
Yeah, you know.
I created a new genre, hip hop. I'm saying it has a pop sensibility.
Yep.
Like, yeah, a lot of those guys.
It has become popular culture. It's not like some underground thing anymore.
Yeah,
it's not like
that guy that put the diamond in his forehead, like $1 million he had embedded in his forehead. Oh my God, my son loves him. He's huge.
Not the extent.
No, that guy, my son loves him too.
Oh, so he's young. He's
18. He loves all that stuff. Like he plays it all the time. Like Chief Keef. He plays some Tekashi 6 9. I was like, yo, don't play that in the car.
No, I don't do that.
No, don't do that. Like, it's just too.
But even like the stuff like Lil Pump and like all the
Uzi Vert. He's super talented. But then I watched the Little Peep doc, which is really heavy.
It's heavy.
Then I watched the Juice WRLD doc, which is so heavy, like their addiction to pills and like the not stability around them and the people enabling it. Those are heavy docs.
Yeah. Well, even like the extent, all this stuff. Like I know guys that were in that camp, and this is what a crazy world is. That even like to me, hip hop stuff was always grounded, like in just in soul roots. And it's like, but now these hip hop kids are becoming like young, privileged white metal. Kids that are like now they're tapping into the 666 and all the like the Wicca and all this other stuff where it's like to black folks back then that was like a no. You know what I mean? But now it's become it's the shock value.
It's
shock value. But again, being a man of faith, I believe there's good and evil. A lot of these kids that they get tapped into this shock value stuff don't realize that they're tapping into a true evil and wickedness, and a lot of that stuff comes out with the pills and the stuff that they're taking. They're under the influence of these pills. I believe these guys are seeing crazy stuff. I believe they are tapping into a whole nother world that's not safe. You know what I mean? And along with that too becomes a lot of this depression, a lot of the
opioids
stuff,
and all that stuff.
Yeah, and if you're seeing demons, you know what I mean? Then that's got to be scary. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to live anymore. These guys are freaking me out. I get that. I believe that, dude.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So okay, top 5. So it's Rakim and KRS. What you got in there?
Rakim, KRS. You're gonna make this. I always feel like it's final if I say it.
No, it's not final, man.
But I mean,
you got no Jay, Nas, Biggie in there?
Oh, Nas for sure.
Okay,
Nas for sure.
One of my favorites, dude.
I love Biggie. I love Biggie and Tupac too. Sometimes I got sidetracked with all the controversy.
Yeah.
But Nas for sure. I love the Roots, man. The Roots from Philly.
Yeah. Homeboy, the singer. He's underrated.
Oh, to me, Black Thought. Yeah.
Amazing freestyles by him too. Like, and this last record was amazing too.
Yeah.
Run the Jewels I like too.
Run the Jewels for new stuff. Yeah.
That last record was great. Yeah. It came out right during the pandemic.
Killer Mike. I follow Killer Mike. I always try to listen.
He's awesome,
man. Yeah. I see you like stuff too on there.
Yeah.
Who else is I'm trying to think of?
Nas, KRS One, Rakim. Those are great.
As far as lyricists go, those guys. But as far as fun and stuff, like I remember being into Outkast forever.
Man,
forever I was an Outkast.
Yeah.
Because there was hooky stuff,
Yeah.
There was Southern Playalistic and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, again, because they were telling a story, and even like in Georgia at that time, there wasn't. No. Again, it was West Coast, East Coast. To have like a Common come from Chicago or Outkast, but all of a sudden I felt like I was learning about Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree.
In Georgia, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's so much that come from there now, for sure.
Even with the Nas of Coogee, again, all the New York stuff. Yeah, Coogee. You just
Big Daddy Kane.
I love Big Daddy Kane. You're. I feel like they're bringing me into their life and into their story.
Wu-Tang too, yeah.
Oh, Wu-Tang for sure. And then you feel like you're getting to know who they are. That's why today's stuff I don't like. Well, I'm not popping pillies.
I can't relate. I can't relate the substance, everything about it. Yeah,
and it's all glorifying that stuff when it's like, dude, why are we glorifying something that's like?
But even my son, who doesn't do any drugs, loves hip hop. He's like, yo, check out the beat, check out the chorus.
True.
So he's pointing that out to me. He's not talking about the lyrical content because he even knows it's silly and he
can
relate to it.
I like
that. But it's music you can bob your head to.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know what I mean? It's different. But we're about lyrics and we're about the message and we're about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And the substance, and that's what will connect us to it, I think.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
Like Kerry Russell, my philosophy, talking about being a vegetarian back then. I was like, wow, in '88 he was just talking about that.
Vegetarian, no pork, no ham,
no chicken or turkey
beef or hamburger.
Because to me,
that's suicide, self-murder. Yeah,
that right there, man. Because I was already becoming a vegetarian from the Youth of Today and Gorilla Biscuits guys, and then I heard that, I'm like, I love hip hop, and now one of my favorite artists is in the Boogie Down Productions singing about that.
Yeah,
you know?
So cool.
And then Dead Prez, another one.
Dead Presidents, yeah.
There's so many, man. I love Common too, though. Yeah. Common's pretty underrated as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a great lyricist.
Dude, to this day, I still, when you listen to that song, I used to love her.
Used to love her.
I love story. I love and the last line, he's telling this whole story. But what I'm talking about, y'all, is hip. He was talking about a girl.
I know, it's hip hop.
Yeah. To me, I still listen to them like, these lyrics are
amazing.
Like I get chills listening to this. Like he's just talking about what she did, shaking her ass, selling her soul, becoming a part of this, but he's talking about the evolutions and the differences of hip hop.
I love that.
Yeah. Man. Went to the West. Oh, what is it? Something about.
Then he had beef with Ice Cube too after one of those songs. They had a battle because something like that. Or maybe one of those songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about like a Drake or Kanye? You mess with that too? You listen to that stuff or no?
Because of my kids, they'll listen to Drake, and then I listen to it. I'm like, it's got a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Like I like Drake.
Me too.
I like Drake.
I can say that comfortably with you right here. We can both say
I do.
Because people hate on that dude, but I think he's super talented, man.
Totally. I like Drake. Kanye, earlier Kanye, like I used to. I don't know, man. I think I'm more intrigued with him as a human being.
I would say, me too.
But then when I actually do listen to stuff, then you're like, okay, well that's a great song, and that's a great song. And then there are lyrics there, and then there, like anybody else, and there's dumb moments where you're like,
I know,
oh, that's not you.
But that's the unperfect human of him.
Exactly. I think I'm more
intrigued. That sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, I'm more intrigued, I think, I think he's a genius all the way around.
Like I'm tripping on his new boots. He's been wearing these really high black boots. I'm like, what are those? Are they just regular boots from our hardware, like Army Navy store? Like, what are they? They your brand?
Yeah,
stuff like that. I'm like, what he's wearing or what he's going to talk about next. Or
I mean, I don't know if you...
I think he's pretty punk rock, to be honest, because he actually doesn't care what people think. He actually speaks his mind.
I like that part.
And he doesn't give it. He's not worried about getting canceled. He cancels me again, I don't care.
Yeah.
I respect that aspect, that he just does what he speaks his truth. You know?
I love
whether you agree with it or not.
True. I love when people are punk rock about it, but I also love when it's just they're also open to let other people be punk rock and not punk rock. Because I remember when there was certain reasons. Now I remember when Kanye first started, when he was producing, I was like, hey, this kid is sick, and he was doing that kind of college-y, nerdy stuff. I was like, hey, this guy's cool. But then once people kind of get
backpack, whatever.
Yeah. Once they get into like I don't like that about anybody. Once they change kind of drastically, and then all of a sudden it's like they speak about on other things that are just, I don't know if it's just entertainment or what it is, but I remember when he went on stage and I started to see him as just doing things to be controversial.
Yeah.
Remember when he took Taylor Swift?
Yeah, man.
To me, I don't like that stuff.
No, I don't like it either.
But I do like when he does other things, you're like, oh, dude, that guy, he just... when he's all, President Bush hates
right
black.
Next to him. Yeah, man. That was
and you're looking at Michael, what is it, the comic Mike?
Yeah.
He's like,
You know what to say.
Yeah, it's just gangster stuff.
Stuff
dude.
like that, yeah. Like, wow,
Austin Powers. What's that?
Austin
Mike
Powers.
Myers. Austin Powers
tripping,
didn't even know what to say. I love watching that.
Stuff like that.
It's gangster. But when, when you're going to go in and kind of ruin someone's moment, I was he didn't need to do that. He didn't need to do that.
That was a bum out.
But when I listened to him on when he is Joe Rogan interview.
I haven't seen that one. I got to see that.
Dude, watch that. He's everywhere, but in a good way. Like he'll the first whatever, he'll lose you. He just he's everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then when he kind of, you see where he's going with it, but I think he's got so many things on his brain,
he's always
dude.
Thinking, always creating, yeah.
So that's why you're like, this guy's pretty much a genius, but he's just trying to articulate it,
He's just to figure out how to get it out from his brain through his mouth sometimes. You know what I mean? Like to get the points across, because he has so many points he wants to make. I get it. I understand.
It's great. You gotta listen to that one.
Yeah, I love to get inside his mind and to see how, I don't know.
Oh, dude, I don't know. You're gonna be blown away. He's. That's why I said I'm just gonna see what he's gonna do next.
Yeah. Bro, thank you so much. I'm trying to make sure all my notes before you make your journey back home. But no, I appreciate you so much for being there.
Oh, heck
it's great to
bro.
catch it up with you. I haven't seen you since 2004 probably, right?
It's been bananas.
See each other online, but that's not real life.
I know.
This is nice to be face to face with you, man.
For sure.
Really stoked to have you here, and I'm stoked to see what is up next for you guys.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate you, man. I think this is really cool what you've been doing. And
thank you.
Staying busy. And
this is fun. It's having conversation with people.
Yeah.
And really getting to know them, because you think you know somebody, maybe hung out a couple of times, or know their music or their story, you know?
Yeah, no. We do get caught up on Insta stuff. I love watching you with your wife and your son.
Thank you, man.
When I ran into Shavo and John from System the other day, like I don't think I've seen them since like the Ozfest days.
Yeah.
But I follow them, so I'm like, and then you see,
you feel like you're already caught up with them.
Yeah, they get married, and that's the first thing I said was I gave them a big old hug, and I was just like, dude, I love watching you guys with your families, man. It's just, because we're used to the rock and roll stuff.
Yeah.
But then Instagram, when you're hanging out, being a dad, and I love seeing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love it too. I love it too, man, because that's the best thing that probably ever happened to us, becoming parents, man.
Oh, yeah.
Easily, hands down. Like all the music stuff and all those highs and lows, being a band. Yeah, I love that. It's great. I'm very lucky to do what I love, but like becoming a dad and growing up without a dad and all that emotion that comes becoming a dad, you get so emo with everything, and then like just having, I don't know, making a human with somebody you love.
Yeah.
Like both of us were, like we made those kids out of love, and we wanted to do that. I mean, I'm pretty sure. And then, like you want to start a family, and you do that, and you do it out of love, and then you get to raise this human in this world, this scary world, and you start seeing the world for what it is, right? Because maybe you had your blinders on before because it was just you and your lady traveling together, being boyfriend and girl, but then you bring this human into the world. It's amazing, man. It's such
selfless,
a blessing, man. We're so lucky, man.
We're not just living a life for us. Have you seen that documentary, The Other F Word?
It's great.
Oh, bro, I think it was
it's great, man.
What'd he say, my boy?
You need an East Coast version. I always tell Jim that. That was more of a West Coast vibe.
But dude, Jim, because I was going through the same stuff as him. Like he was, so dude, I literally watched that and I was crying because I was like, he's like, I'm like, this is my life. I'm leaving my kids. I'm like, this is my life. And when to this day is probably the most profound things I've heard someone say in the longest time. He's it's Pennywise, and he's talking about the punk rock, all this stuff. And he said, and they live their life being punk rock. And he said, probably the most, talking about getting older, probably the most punk rock thing, that I can do in this day and age is raise a decent human being. Yeah, man. When he said that, I was like, I lost it. Yeah. He said he's more punk rock now because he's all about his family. Yeah. He said when you're young and we're wilding out, everybody's going crazy. He's like, but you grow up, and he's like, no, I'm just. That's the most punk rock thing I've ever done. I'm raising a decent human being. And then we're lucky that we grew up in that scene where it was so about being yourself and being open-minded and being individuals and the unity in the community and just speaking your mind. You know what I'm saying? You get to instill those kind of morals into your kid. Yeah. Not push it into him, but hopefully that's... Yeah, but our experiences so they don't make the same mistakes. Exactly. The other cat was saying, like, yeah, we're punk rock. It used to be cool to go in and, you're so punk rock to go in and if you could take a bat and bash in some car window. He's like, now you look back, now that you're older and mature, own a car, you're like, what an idiot I was. And it's so true. It is so true. You think you're being punk rock for whatever reason, but now you're like, you grow up and you're like, oh, that's the mentality. I was just, what was I doing? You can still be punk rock, but you don't have to be a vandal. Are all your kids? So not all your kids live with you anymore. They're out. No. My oldest, she's gonna graduate this year, but she stayed home just to cut costs. She'll graduate with no bills, and dude, I'm trying to get my kids out. You want them out because I have this whole leave the nest syndrome thing that I know it's gonna happen. My son's 18. I'm like, just so you know, Billie Eilish is 19. She lives at home. She sells millions of records. I'll build you a crib in the garage. No. Your room's perfect. I have this whole thing of that because that's like my best. That's my dude. And it's like I know we don't own our children. Like we make them, we raise them with our wives, and we don't own them. It's like they're gonna go out to the world and be their own person. And I'm excited for that, but it's not ready for it. I know. I'm not ready for it mentally, man. No, I should have made another one, man. I messed up. I thought my daughter was gonna leave for college, and she had plans to go, and so I was prepared for it. But when it finally came down to it, she didn't want to leave. So I was like, love, why don't you just go to San Diego State? I'm like, people come from all over the world to go to San Diego State. So I'm like, go to San Diego State, stay here. Yeah. You'll have no bills. How old is she again? She's gonna be 22 next month. So she's gonna graduate in May, but so she'll graduate with no debt, no nothing. And like that's to me, that's one of the greatest gifts my wife and I can gift her. 22, that's great. But you don't have, but my wife's gonna kill me for saying this, but I would. They can stay with us forever. But my wife is like, she's like, I can't wait for them to go. So it could just be me, you, and me again.
Then it's a new chapter of your life together.
And I look forward to that. I'm ready.
Me too. Like all of a sudden it's me and my wife again, how it was before we had a son.
Yeah.
But then we have this human out there navigating through the world that I'm going to be worried about the rest of my life.
True.
But as long as you have that connection, that bond, and that communication, you're all good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, I do. I know, man.
You'll figure it out. We'll both figure it out once it happens.
I know. I just have that. That's the emo shit killing my heart. Like, don't leave. You're all good. You have a job.
What
now he's playing drums in my band. So now, okay, cool.
I love that, by the way.
So now you're on tour with me.
I love that, by the way. I always tell my son, because my son plays the drums. I'm like, look at this. I'll show him videos of your son. And I'm like, dude, look at this. Father and son playing. And I'm like, dude, you better step up your chops, dude. Because if I ever do anything solo or whatever, I'm like, I want to take you with me.
I'm so lucky because my drummer had some injury and he's dealing with himself with his family. And then my son just came in and he's
I can't believe that, dude. When I watched that, I was like, this is what's up. This is sick.
It's surreal, man. But I told my son, like, hey, you play with us. Like,
yeah,
we'll always be connected. You always be connected to your children. But it's just, raising them. And then it just goes by fast, man,
Dude, too fast.
And then when they get older and you start getting older, not to be morbid at the end of this podcast, but you see like, I'm not going to be here on this planet forever with them. Like I'm 52 next month. Yeah. My son's 18. I'm going to be looking down.
Yeah, we're on the downslope, bro.
I'm just saying I just want to be able to, I know I haven't died and came back and everything we talked about. Like I want to be able to look down and watch my son forever and keep an eye on him. You know what I mean? And I don't know because it hasn't happened to me yet. It's like, I want to be here forever, bro. It's hard, I know. Man.
Kids.
I don't want to get morbid, but you know what I'm saying? We have to think about that because we're not here forever. But it's like, I want to be them. I want to be a grandfather. Not right now. not right now. Not right now. But you know what I mean?
That's a good thing.
It's a part of life that's like, I hate talking about death. I
know.
Losing people. I hate going to funerals. I hate like thinking about that stuff. And I live in my little PMA bubble. I do my pod. I hang out with my friends. I stay positive. I hike. I eat good and take care of my family. And I just try not to watch the news so much and try to make that life's wonderful and make the best you can, No, that's all we can do, dude.
That's good, bro. That's all you can do.
All right, bro. Well, thank you so much, Sonny, for being here, man.
I appreciate you,
I really appreciate you coming up. Is it coming down or coming up?
Coming up.
Okay, I always sucked at that. For being on the pod, Southtown, bro. I'm super stoked to have you, man.
Oh, great to be here,
We'll do a part 2 someday. We'll just talk about being dads and stuff.
Heck yeah, let's do it.
All right, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, guys. Thanks for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet to this podcast, please do that. And whatever platform you are listening to this on, I'm glad you found me. You can rate me and review me on there also. So thank you guys sincerely for the support. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the next one.